nibble, which was a lot less
intrusive.
Fun. Well, it was a lot less fun when he got older. You know what I'm saying?
Lavender.
No, this was Little Man. You never met Little Man. He was my stepdad's cat who passed away. I think he was like 2019. But great cat, but loved to nibble on my face and other people's faces a little bit. It was a sign of love that my stepdad, when he was a kitten, didn't like dissuade him. And so as he got older, he just kept doing it, right? But then now it's a big cat instead of a little kitten doing it.
Got it. All right.
Welcome to Cat Talk. Our first guest today is
Come on, man. We got 3 hours to
It's all
fill.
about now.
This is what we need to do to fill 3 hours. And welcome. Okay. All right. So I don't know if Goose knew he was signing up for this today, but all right. So we do have sports to talk about on the program. We talked a lot of World Cup yesterday. I don't know if we're going to have much more of that talk. We'll put LeBron in here once in a while. I think. I don't know. We've got a great photo from Chip Kelly that we want to discuss. But in the first hour, we'll have our great friend Max Torres from On3, recruiting coordinator. Goose is going to be biting into that hard, as we'll have our initial thoughts on the NFL season as well as training camp starts, MLB contenders. We'll have Matt Dompe, our good friend, the godfather, the Eugene Emeralds general manager, in the studio in the second hour. Third hour is a free-for-all. Does the NBA Summer League mean anything to anybody? Now just save it for the last hour, okay? So, and of course, our best fits for LeBron, and NCAA D2 is pushing for something starting next year. This is very interesting. We'll talk about this in the last hour as well. Of course, if you're watching us live on the YouTube, thank you very much. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, we'll have all those things up. And I really encourage you guys to follow us. If you want to start with a collection point, go to sportsanimalEUG.com. That's got everything. You have all the links to the socials. The website's going to keep growing. Baby J and Vegas were putting clips out last night, which, by the way, Mims is a superstar, as I said. You're the face now of the program. You didn't even realize that. And I'm not going to pay you anymore for it, by the way. No. So, initial thoughts, guys, as World Cup is done. So now we talked about a lot of that yesterday. And by the way, if you missed any of the program yesterday, go back to the podcast, because we do have the podcast now on all the platforms. Sports Animal EUG. Find it there. Like, subscribe. John Strong was excellent. I know he got his tire fixed, and he's now back home, safe and sound. So now what are we going to talk about the rest of the summer? It's baseball until another week, and then we can start talking about college football, right?
Now. I think we're ready to talk about football. But it is interesting how does this not feel like one of the first days where we had the World Cup? I know, Steve, you weren't as into the World Cup as Danny and I were, but it felt like
you were the most definitely the first one in the World Cup. Okay, so
but my point is, even if you didn't love the World Cup, it was still something to talk about. It feels like, besides baseball, this is kind of the first time this summer where it's felt like, all right, like, I don't know what's going on exactly right now. We're getting ready for training camp in the NFL. Major League Baseball, the trade deadline is a week and a half away at this point, 10 days. So
right.
That's gonna be.
I know we're going to talk about that more.
Yeah. So it's just funny to me how this is kind of the first day for
like, right. Every national radio show is on vacation.
That's very true, though. Honestly, that is, and we're not going to be, although you're going to be for the rest of the week. No. We'll have other people.
I'll be back when the Big Ten Media Day starts, and we got stuff to talk about. I'll be back Monday.
So I was talking to Josh Pate earlier today. I actually got to talk to him. He's going to be one of our college football gurus. And of course, if you follow Josh on the socials, you know he does a really good job on putting the college football scene in perspective. And he's going to be a regular on our program, but he's getting ready for SEC Media Days. And he was like, I literally talked to him for 10 minutes. He's like, dude, I'm just about ready to go into a gauntlet of back-to-back interviews for like 6 hours. I can't even imagine doing that. I mean, 3 hours with you guys is great because I don't have to talk all the time. But doing that back to
I'm just kidding.
No,
those are pretty fun though, because you get a lot of different people, you know.
But don't you get the same question over and over and over again from different hosts?
The people are, but if he's getting one-on-one, which I assume he's getting,
he is. Yeah,
that's pretty. You're in a media scrum for 6 hours, and you get somebody who's just there to ask the same one question to get their name, their voice heard over by their parents at home listening. It's not fun, but No, if you're in a situation, I used to love those, like Pac-10 basketball media day, I would just go hit everybody and hit them up, and you'd get them sometimes just sitting outside having a cup of coffee. They'd try to make it pretty casual stuff. And so, and I was nowhere near as recognizable as Josh Pate. So I'm sure he's got some pretty good interviews
You
coming.
never really talked to Josh, have you? You're going to love talking to Josh. He's the people's commissioner. We love Josh Pate on this program, and we'll have him back for the fall. So hopefully in a regular weekly spot, if we can get that worked out. By the way, if you want to advertise on Sports Animal Eugene, please hit me up. You've got our website where you can contact us, because we'll have plenty of opportunities for you to help me support all these guys as we do our crazy little thing here
There
from
are
3 to 6.
Pate company that could be the Josh Pate.
Oh. I think you're onto
Pate.
something. I think you're onto something. Okay. So the Danny and Justin and Goose radio program is now called The Drive. And that's what you're locked into for the next 3 hours. So, by the way, the dongle is now ready to go.
All right.
The one thing I
More
needed for
equipment
today.
coming.
That's all right. So let's take a quick break, okay? When we come back, we're going to have Max Torres. Max Torres is a recruiting guru, talk a lot of Oregon football. And not, I mean, we're pushing this out now. 2027, 2028, what's on the horizon? NIL. It's just Oregon's lineup is set for this year, but Max is always looking forward. So we will get with our dear friend from On3 Sports. Max Torres is next, recruiting expert on The Drive at Sports Animal EUG, Sports Animal Eugene, here for a Tuesday. All right, kids, welcome back to this big radio program that we have. I was told not to call it a little radio program as Goose is looking for the latest news on his phone.
Good for the recruiting class, trying to update myself on my
Are you-
27.
You know what? Here's the thing. You don't have to worry about any of that because we have the expert.
But I got to ask him questions.
Okay, well then try and be a little bit intelligent for the next 15 minutes or so as we welcome in our group of experts. We call him El Toro. Scoop Duck on 3. It's the host of the Ducks Dish podcast, and you can follow M Torres Sports on the handles. Max, welcome into our new radio station. It's the Sports Animal. This is the Drive, a 3 to 6 program. You are going to be a regular for us. Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Absolutely. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a fun time when I can join you and talk some Duck football and Duck recruiting. It's always a blast.
All right, give me 1 second here because I got to do something technical.
Radio. Everything's done there. All right. Now I think we got you, man.
All right, Max, go ahead and intro yourself again.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Great to be back with you guys, talking some Ducks.
There
here,
we go. We got you, bud.
on the drive. All right. You got me okay?
I do now. Thanks. Sorry about that, bud. People saw my fat
No problem.
butt because I got a thing in. So, all right. So, welcome back. You've been a great friend of ours for a long time. We appreciate your insight. So, the Ducks, I mean, they've closed out obviously 2026. They're ready to go there. Is 2027 totally closed for Oregon right now in the recruiting trail? Or are there still pieces with this top 5 class that Dan Lanning needs to close down?
There are still a few pieces that Oregon's looking to close down here in the 2027 recruiting class. 2 specifically. I'll start with Braden Parks, the Chicago, Illinois Brother Rice defensive lineman. He's down to Oregon and Notre Dame and is scheduled to make his college commitment on Thursday, I believe, July 23rd. And the recent intel that I've been able to gather behind the scenes on that one does indeed confirm what many have been thinking, that one looks like it's trending towards Notre Dame. When that one's all said and done. So that was the last big interior defensive lineman that Oregon was looking at here in the 2027 class. So I know a lot of Oregon fans, if and when Parks winds up picking Notre Dame, later on this week, then that would definitely be a bit of a bummer. But I think that there's still other work to be done between now and December. And then you also have 2027 Ohio linebacker Brayton Feaster, who's down to Oregon, Cal, and Georgia. No new date yet. He was originally going to commit earlier on this month, but had some other things pop up that caused him to push things back. So those are the last 2 names that we're really keeping a close eye on here in the 2027 class, and then probably some flips down the line in the fall is my guess to really iron things out.
And just if we look at this class as a whole, number 4 national ranking according to On3, number 1 in the Big Ten. Oregon's been great at recruiting for a while now. We all know this, but just this particular class, how excited should Oregon fans be for this 2027 class? And how would you describe it as a whole?
Yeah, I think Oregon fans should be really excited about this class. I think that you've kind of seen some trends, some types, some of the molds of each position, if you will, under Dan Lanning. We know he likes long corners, long DBs that can run, and you got some of those in this class, of course, with someone like a Hayden Stepp from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. You have more electric wide receivers in Dakota Grant and Xavier Sabb from Michigan and New Jersey, respectively. You have someone who can get after the passer and is one of the most productive defensive linemen in the entire country in Rashad Streets out of North Carolina. So you get that national reach. You have that pop at the top of the class. You have a really good quarterback committed in Will Menzel, who is definitely made of the right stuff, as cliche as that sounds. I just think that being able to see him at the Elite 11 finals and see him rip it and talk to him and learn more about what he is about as a player is something that people need to be excited about. So you have a little bit of everything in this class. I think you're really just looking to find that splash on the interior of the D line, and maybe that takes a little bit longer than people expected.
Max, I'm curious about the in-state. I think there's 5 in-state guys kind of headlined by Josiah Molden, but We got guys from Central Catholic, Lake Oswego, Nelson. I'm just curious, that seems like a bigger crop than there's been that Oregon's brought in recent years. Was this a better year in general for the state of Oregon, or did Oregon just get kind of the top guys?
I do think it's maybe a bit more of the latter this cycle because look, as great as it would be to have a roster that's solely comprised of 4 and 5 star recruits, it's not a responsible thing to do. At least it's not sustainable to do. So I think that Oregon has realized that they have had some really good contributors come from within the state's borders that have panned out really well for them. Look no further than Bryce Betcher this past year, who wound up going to the Colts as a linebacker after coming to Oregon as a walk-on safety. That's a pretty nice story. But you have to have some more depth kind of pieces, guys, that might take a little bit longer to develop down the line. But I think it not only is an indication that the staff believes in the players, but also that they believe in themselves, that they're going to be able to get the best football out of those guys at some point during their time in Eugene.
On 3, and follow him, Scoop Duck, the Duck Dish. M Torres Sports is on the Twitter handle as he joins us. Max Torres, we call him El Toro here on The Drive. Sports Animal Eugene for a Tuesday, our second show number 2 on what we think is going to be a nice long run here as we try and cover the entire world, but the state of Oregon as well as we talk Oregon Ducks football with Max. I want to go back to the quarterback room because this is intriguing to me, with especially the run that Oregon's had in that room, going, all the way back, Justin Herbert, even before that, Marcus Mariota, Herbert, and then moving to Bo Nix, and then Dylan Gabriel, and now Dante Moore. I mean, I would love to see Oregon handle and be able to hold on to quarterbacks, but I mean, Dylan Raiola is sitting there in the wings. And for somebody like Will Menzel, is there less pressure on a recruit to come in and fight for a job? Because we haven't even talked about the rest of the guys that are going to fight for time as a backup. And does that kind of erode or hurt Oregon on the recruiting trail when they're trying to get a quarterback because they have it stacked up for, it seems like, the next 3 years?
Yeah, if you're looking at the quarterback position specifically, I don't think that it's something you're looking for to have a guy that needs to compete right away. I think that speaks to the health of your quarterback room and maybe just kind of the overall program. If you are getting a quarterback recruit that is going to need to be relied on right away. So, I mean, we haven't seen, I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, but it's certainly not the status quo to have someone like a Jaron Kiave Sangapolu-Tele at Cal, or before him, I would liken the situation to a true freshman playing right away, like Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, for example. I know Tua played pretty early in his college career as well. So I don't think it hurts Oregon's prospects from the quarterback position standpoint. But at the end of the day, it does kind of generate this discussion of like, all right, maybe it's a little bit harder to hang on to these touted recruits that come in to play quarterback specifically, because a lot of them are more often than not going to see the field as true freshmen.
Right.
So I think that it's really become a key tenet for them, a key pillar of their recruiting, to just make sure they have the right guy and someone who wants to compete and realize that, you're going to have to show it in practice and before we put you on the field. And they've had guys that have come in these past couple of years and they've had to take the wait and see approach a little bit, if you will, the Dante Moore route sitting behind Dylan Gabriel. And then now what we see with Dylan Raiola behind Dante Moore.
Max, it's so interesting to me that you talk about this class. It's all locked up and we're still 5 more months until signing day. We still have a full season to play out and see kind of how that goes. Do you think there's a possibility that as we get to December, there could be a big name that flips out or that flips in? Do we stand on guard? I know you say there's kind of 2 uncommitted, but are we just at the point now where we just assume once we get to December, there might be 1 or 2 defections and 1 or 2 that flip in?
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe, cap to put on it right now. You don't usually expect any of these guys to flip, but someone, for example, that kind of comes to mind, I haven't had a chance to interview him, so I need to work on it. But like Samaj Stanford, for example, when he committed to Oregon, he said, a lot of people knew that Georgia was my dream school. But I had to kind of put that dream aside to do what was best for me. So you hear quotes like that and you're like, okay, like, how solid are things here? And again, I'm not saying that to cast doubt on his commitment in any way, but like, there's some serious firepower, some serious star power in this class. And much like Oregon doesn't just stop recruiting guys when they commit somewhere else, I don't think that we should expect people to stop recruiting these guys when they commit to Oregon. So like Tay Walden Jr., for example, he's one of the best athletes in the country, and he's all the way out in the Memphis area in Tennessee. I know that schools like Auburn are probably going to be in the mix. Georgia was actually the number 2 team there when all was said and done. I later found out in an interview with Walden. So Oregon's going to have to continue to recruit these guys if they're uncommitted, and they're going to have to get some of these top guys that are committed elsewhere on campus for a visit, likely for a game, if they ultimately want to have a chance to shake things out and get them to flip to the Ducks.
By the way, every time you mention an SEC school, a shiver goes up and down Justin's spine. He absolutely has a visceral hate for anything SEC.
No, Max knows this. We were talking about this when we were driving around UG, and after what was that, Max? It was last USC game or something like that, I think, last year. But I think something interesting right now, I think, for college football, and it's in your area as well. You talk about recruiting, and we talk about blue chip recruits. Things were sort of, we expected a certain thing out of championship teams, all the way to last year when Indiana wins. And Indiana, I just checked, they were the 53rd national ranked recruiting class in 2025. In 2026, they were 30th. They're 28th in 2026. So it just kind of begs the question to me. Of course, they had the transfer portal. They had like a great head coach. Like, there were all these other factors, right? And so is recruiting more important than ever, or has actually recruiting taken a step back a little bit to the transfer portal, to these NIL, situations where guys can decide at any given time, oh, I'm going to go here, or whatever it is? Like, is recruiting still the number one thing in college football at this point?
I do think it still is. I mean, at least if you're looking at prep recruiting, because when you look at some of these transfer portal hauls, like obviously what Cignetti did at Indiana was a very special example, but like you saw some of these roster overhauls at a place like a USC or a Colorado, and it's sometimes a flash in the pan. And I just don't think that it's the more sustainable of the two methods, if you will. And just from a pure numbers standpoint, I think a majority of the guys that you trot out to play for you on Saturday, they're going to be guys you recruited from high school. And then you kind of have the transfer guys to fill in some of the cracks. So I think you kind of find different approaches, different percentages, I guess, to varying degrees, depending on which coach and which program you're looking at. So, I mean, talent acquisition in general, whether we're talking high school or transfer portal, is really the name of the game. And then you have to couple that with really good coaching, because you can have all the best players in the world, but nothing's going to happen if you don't know how to utilize them. And I do, to some degree, think back to when Oregon was being led by Mario Cristobal, because like there's someone like a Troy Franklin didn't get nearly enough touches. Someone like Dante Thornton, who wound up being an NFL draft pick, he hardly was featured at Oregon. So that's not to say that it's easy by any means, but if you can't get the right combination of guys on the field and know when to do certain things as a head coach, then you're not going to be able to achieve those ultimate goals. So I still think that recruiting high school guys is the name of the game, even though I feel like there has been some interest lost in it because of all the NIL stuff going on, the reclassifying that's going on. I think some people get rubbed the wrong way, but it's just the way the game's gone now. It's the nature of the beast.
All right, Max. So the next time we talk to you, you will be betrothed. Have you written out your vows yet? You're an incredible writer. Have you written everything out to get married?
I have not written everything out just yet. My sister's actually going to be officiating our wedding, and she sent us kind of like a little bit of a questionnaire, if you will, to kind of get some more background and stuff on us and our relationship. So it was a nice little brainstorming activity is kind of how I took it. And then I'll definitely be getting to work on those very soon here, and I'm excited to kind of craft it up.
I'm not putting any pressure on you, but you get one shot at this, right?
Right.
All right, Max, we love you on this program. Thanks for hopping in and you know, the new launch is here. Now we get to see each other every time. You know, we don't have to do it just on the phone, which is awesome, right?
Absolutely. No, it's great to be here with you guys and fun to be able to interact with you visually now.
All right, bud. Take care.
Thanks, Max.
God bless you. Take care. All right, buddy.
All right.
There he goes, the great Max Torres. So let's head to our break as this for a Tuesday program has already got off to a rocket start. So we've talked about cats and we've talked about the ducks. So let's talk.
a sports animal, you know, it is a sports animal. Cats and
I was hoping you were going to dive in on that, Goose. Our initial
goose.
They've got more initial thoughts on the NFL season. Training camp starts. Who's our favorite? I've got a board, by the way, with all the helmets. We're going to keep track of all of the standings in the NFL season. We're going to have it right here on the program when we return. It is the Sports Animal and the Drive on 102.9 FM, 1050 AM in Eugene, and also on the coast, KNCU, Fox Sports, Newport. Hey there, kids, as we cascade back into what we do here on the Sports Animal. I'm Danny. Right over there is Goose. Across from me is Baby J. Dom and Vegas are back in the studio. Studio A, we're Studio B, I guess you'd call it. Wouldn't you call it? Oh, maybe we're Studio A and they're Studio B. What do you think, Goose? How do you want to call it? I'm leaving it up to you. The naming rights.
Well, I don't know. There's a studio between us, so wouldn't that be wouldn't
Maybe that would be
they
B.
be in like G? 'Cause it feels
Yeah.
like there's like 6 studios between us.
Okay, so here's the other thing: is that
And
can
this
we?
monstrosity of a studio?
So can we like get naming rights besides the Bigfoot Beverages Studios? I mean, like we can name the microphones, right?
It sounds like
I
something
could-
your wife should do.
I can license each of you guys out, and I can give you guys your own naming rights. Like every time I say you, it's like the Tostitos Baby J question of
This
the
is
day.
like that commercial that they take the naming rights of the
Yeah. The graduate.
Right, the
It's
graduate.
top-
exactly. No,
I don't need I don't need you guys getting big. I don't need you guys getting big heads though. Is the whole thing? Is that I need to make sure that we stay level here.
I think your wife should be because she's really great at choosing the names of the kids.
Oh, we can't repeat any of those on the air.
On the air, but they're great names.
So we have the old Ring cameras around the house.
Mhm.
So when we were in Damascus, we actually had cameras in the house as well as outside on every entry point. So I think it was more when my daughter turned like 14. I wanted to make sure she wasn't sneaking out at night. So I had a camera on every entry point. So now we don't have any cameras inside the house anymore.
Is that a problem for Abby sneaking out?
No, God, no. No, God, no. My daughter is the best thing ever. I have no complaints about her whatsoever. I'm so fortunate. She's going to be a senior in high school this year at North Eugene, and I cannot complain about her at all. She's the best. So, but do you do the Ring camera thing, or are you that?
I don't have it on my phone. My wife does. I don't care about it. but
Wow,
She does.
I'm the only one who doesn't have a ring.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't care about it? She does.
Yeah, I don't. She's. They're coming and things like this. It's not my jam.
Okay.
That's the chill guy.
I live in a pretty safe
Well-
there might be some porch fires type thing, but I'm not real concerned about somebody breaking into the house or something.
He's one step away from a gated community. Is what he is. Yes, he is. It just lean in a little bit more when you talk. So. All right. So our initial thoughts on the NFL season, training camp starts. There's been a lot of debate. So the first question that came to my mind when you brought this up, Baby J, as a topic for today, is that can Joe Burrow get through one season without getting hurt? Has he been hurt literally in every single season as a Bengals quarterback? Because it almost seems like to me, now that's perception is not reality, but my perception is he's literally been hurt every single year. And that's one of the things that are holding the Bengals back from doing anything except they have a really cheap owner.
Well, I know it hasn't been every year because I was watching ESPN today before they laid everybody off. And question of the day was who set the NFL record for most 50-yard touchdown passes in
Joe
the
Burrow.
season? And what I thought it would be like Dan Marino in that 85, and it was Joe Burrow with 8 in like 2021. Now maybe he only played 8 games, I don't know, but I was surprised that the answer was him. So it feels like he must have had one pretty healthy year.
It's interesting because he had a full season of 17 games in 2024. Obviously played 8 games last year. And I think 2027 was the year he was coming off that major injury. Or sorry,
2027 is this
Sorry, 2023.
after this year.
I'm getting my numbers in. He's played 77 games. There's 17 games. There's a lot of sevens over here. He
Okay.
was 27 this season, so that's what I meant to say. In 2023, I believe he was coming off that major injury, was he not? And he wasn't running around a whole lot. And in 2022, he played 16 games out of 17. In 2021, he played 16 games out of 17.
It just, I mean, again, I said perception is not
I'm-
reality. It seems like when the Bengals start getting good or they just tank in the beginning of the season, all of a sudden then they're making a run at the end of the year.
It's true.
So then the other thing is, so is this the year finally for Josh Allen to break through? Because it seems like, okay, well, that was quick. I don't even let me get the rest of the theory out before you answer it here on the drive. As Sports Animal, I know you do. That's why I'm bringing it up. Is this finally the last chink in the armor for the Kansas City Chiefs to be, what everybody thought was going to be a dynasty? They slipped backwards big time last year. And is this the year that they finally get knocked the rest of the way off? Is it going to be the Bills that do it? Yes or no? You don't think Josh Allen's going to have a breakout year now in Buffalo?
Why wasn't it last year? I
think it was because of Sean. You had a defensive head coach in Sean McDermott who did not lean into the offensive side of the football.
Now you got a first-year coach who's never been a head coach before. I would have preferred a McDermott who'd been there and had success. I don't like the idea of him suddenly getting a guy who was kind of like they hired Brady because he was kind of Josh's guy and Josh's buddy, and I don't know if that's always the best.
All right, so who wins out of the? Who's your guy in the AFC, guys?
It doesn't have to be.
I mean, this is like initial poll.
Well, I'll tell you this.
We're going to have it on tape.
If
So
you're going to have it, Patriots or the field, taking the field all the way.
so you don't like the Patriots to get back there with Mike Vrabel?
No, you know who I like this year is the Broncos. I think the Broncos put it all together this year and get back.
Okay,
to
they got it.
a Bo Nix fluke injury at the end of a game. What was it? Just like a handoff or something? Even it was something.
They got to
ridiculous.
maintain the running game if they're going to do that. They got to maintain the running game because you cannot rely on Bo to do everything there in the Mile High City.
There's a lot of debate about how good Bo has been in the NFL. Is he a great NFL quarterback? I don't think he's like a top 5, top 10 quarterback, but I think you can win with Bo Nix. And I think that this team is just great head coach.
I don't hate
great
that.
defense. I think their running game should be really good. They've got Bo, who we know. Bo, when he's hot,
Bo knows.
he can be as good, and Bo does know. He can be as good as any quarterback when he's hot. He does things on the field that you just can't teach some guys. He's got mobility, get out of the pocket, throw to the guy downfield. Like, he's not always accurate. Sometimes he'll make some plays where you're just like, I don't know what you're seeing, Bo. It's the worst throw I've ever seen.
All right, Goose.
Give me the other Oregon quarterback.
You like
Really?
Justin?
Yeah,
You
I
finally
think
think. So we're not to the NFC yet. Okay.
Yeah, I think this could be the year come together. It's been, the injuries, the two.
Is he going to have a
linemen-
line?
If the two linemen come back, and are
Sure.
healthy,
It's not their fault.
yeah, they're both back and healthy, and Harbaugh's in another year, and Herbert, has a playoff run. I think they could be the most talented team, but
So does Justin have enough weapons around him to be able to be threatening? And I think it starts with the line.
last year, I think his second year could be a big year for him
Okay.
to be coming out, and they brought in Keaton Mitchell, I think the speedster from Baltimore. Got some of the same receivers still, and Keaton Allen is a year older, but you got
So you-
in there. And
So you guys both think it's going to come out of the West then? AFC West is going to be the team that's going to come and fight for the crown when it's all said. So you said Denver and the Chargers. So
I think that until the Chiefs are eliminated, they still every single season when they have healthy matchups
Listen.
with their not start of the season. But I'm just saying, if the Chiefs can come out, they can go, 3-2 to start the year. I don't know when Mahomes is supposed to play, but if Mahomes is playing and they've got a decent defense, they've got the best defensive coordinator in the league. I'm always going to take the Chiefs serious.
So you went to the point where I was going to go is by far the Chiefs have top to bottom the best coaching staff of anybody. So you mix the right talent in with that. I think there's going to be a resurgence in Kansas City. I wouldn't count the Chiefs out either. So again, we're still staying in the AFC West. So there's 3 teams between this collective, this brain trust that we have here on Sports Animal.
I still throw the Bills up in there.
So, but that's what I just asked you. So do you think Josh Allen's going to have a resurgence at all?
I think he's been really. He needs to have a resurgence. I think he needs, some things around him offensively to come together. But
Okay, that's fair.
I think they
They had to DJ Moore.
Stephen Core a little bit
Okay.
better with Moore.
But again, every quarterback to me doesn't matter who you are, unless you have a running game and a line. Forget it.
Cook. I mean, James Cook's been a good running back for him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
All right. This could be their year.
What about the NFC?
Can I just say last
Okay.
final thought
Quick.
about the AFC? Any thought about the Patriots? Any chance you think they're going
You know what? Here's the thing.
Overachievement last year. Team that falls back out of the playoffs back into like a 9-8 team.
So who's quarterback again?
Drake May.
Drake May. I mean, he was pretty good, but
He was.
But,
Playoff.
you know,
Yeah,
but
look
then-
at what he did against Denver. I mean, he basically couldn't do anything.
Right.
And he didn't do anything in the Super Bowl either until
No.
the last thing.
well, but okay. So credit Seattle
And
for
they had
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay, but again,
It was one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen.
and one of the worst Super Bowls ever.
It was absolutely with worst commercials.
All right, NFC. We'll start with you, Goose. Who do you got coming out of the NFC?
Those Cowboys.
Oh, are you going to wear a Stetson in the studio?
The most commercials ever.
Seriously. Well, you just made somebody over in Studio B very happy. So, all right. So, anybody else? I mean, any other dark horses you want to take in there?
I think this could be a big Kyler Murray year. I think he could be a guy who gets with a good
With the
quarterback,
Vikings?
who gets with a good quarterback, and all of a sudden, kind of turns around.
I have such mixed thoughts on that because there's sometimes where you're totally right. He on paper, I'm all with you. There's just something about Kyler.
Need a reset button,
But,
and
like,
coach who's respected.
There's sometimes when you watch him, it's just like this guy should be the most talented or one of the most
Do
talented.
not
quarterbacks.
jinx the team that
Totally with
week.
you.
Do
What
not
are they
jinx
move
the
on?
next
The
game.
team that I think that everybody's watching out for in the entire league. I think this team is winning the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's the Rams. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL.
Well, so does that make-
I think they're adding Aaron Donald.
He's coming back.
I think he's coming back
Because he's
I've
Miles
already
Garrett
accepted.
on one side, Aaron Donald on the other side. The defense is going to be suffocating. They're going to use the Seahawks playbook. So we're not going to so we're not going to have a repeat champion. So you don't think Seattle can be a contender again this year?
I think that
I think they can be. I'm just saying. I don't have any skin in this game at all because I'm a Packers fan. But I really think that Seattle, if there's any chance for a repeat, they're not going to be a dynasty. Let's stop that talk right away. But I really do think if they keep to the same game plan that they had this past year, that's a game plan for success. And they're going to come out of the toughest division in football in the NFC West.
They did keep a lot of their guys as well. I think that they're a contender for sure. I am going to be the person that sits there and says that I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be as good as last year. I know I'm
But you
probably
said-
wrong.
But did you say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but I'm talking about Sam Darnold.
Oh, sorry, Sam Darnold. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Matt Stafford. I have those guys interchanged in my mind. So Sam Darnold. Yeah, no, and we hated on Sam Darnold. First USC quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl, by the way.
I just think he's going to be one of those quarterbacks where that was his career earlier last year. I'm not saying he's not going to be serviceable. I don't think he's going to be awful or anything like that. He's clearly improved as a quarterback. Like you're saying, he's like the perfect example of these stick the guy in the right situation.
Yeah.
And then
Well, he's not Geno Smith.
no. Smith, he's going to play Geno Smith stuff. So I'm like, where is he right now?
Back with the Jets.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Aaron Glenn? No, Aaron Glenn's still.
No, is he? That's right.
Yeah, still one more year. At least one more. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll wind out hour number one. As we head to the top of the hour, we'll have a sports bite from our man Vegas, but we'll take a quick time out here, come back for a really quick segment to reset for hour number two. You are locked in to the Sports Animal Eugene. Follow us on all the socials, Sports Animal EUG. This is The Drive in Newport as well on Fox Sports Newport 92.7. Coming up. Coming up next hour, we'll have the Godfather here in studio, Sports Animal Eugene. Follow us on the all-new sportsanimal.eugene.com. That's where all of our socials are as well. You can follow us and link us up. And podcast is there on YouTube as well. Thanks for the folks that are on YouTube. No poll question today. We'll have that up tomorrow. And again, we'll just apologize. One more time. I only do it once, so I'm going to keep calling attention to it. We'll have the audio fix tomorrow on the stream for all of us. So it'll be a lot cleaner. If you're listening to us over the air in Eugene on 102.9, 1050 AM, it sounds really clear. Over on the coast, 92.7 KNCU, Fox Sports Newport.
Hello, friends.
It sounds really good over there. But on the stream, we still have a couple of things to work out. But Goose looks a lot better, a lot more comfortable in the studio.
Goose is always looking good.
Huh?
But it's nice. It's relaxing for me because I don't know any of this technical stuff that you guys worry about. So when you guys get concerned about that, there's nothing I can do. I can just get to play. It's very relaxing for me.
So what do you like? So if you're in an operating theater, who are you? Are you the guy just like the orderly, just like brings the gauze bandages up, and it's just like you don't care about what's going on the table?
I don't know how to do brain surgery. That's what you're asking.
Really quick segment, top of the hour, we'll have Vegas with our Sports Bite. Next hour, we will have Matt Dompe here in the studio. We want to talk about Chip Kelly, that picture that came up when they're finishing off the Northwestern construction project. I mean, the building's going to be done. The new stadium's going to be done there at Northwestern. So I don't know what the big deal is there, but David J.
I don't think they play their non-conference games there. I think
Kelly Field, the new Kelly
I
Field.
think they have to go back.
Okay.
I don't think they get until the next month.
They take it forever. Tom Brady is back in the news, and we always love talking about Tom Brady on this program. Matt Dompe and can the Pac-12 be relevant in football immediately? And, of course, your phone calls. And listen, kids, if you want to hop on the program and chime on in, we got plenty of room, especially in the last hour, on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. That's 541-343-5673. You can also comment on the old YouTube verse, as I see. So somebody asked, did we ask this as well?
I think it was maybe Dom.
Oh, it was Dom who asked, would you rather have Sam Darnold or Jordan Love?
I know my answer.
I mean, is that a setup question
It's a total
or
setup.
what?
There's just people
He
that
wants-
just
he
don't
trying-
believe in Jordan Love. He's anti-Jordan Love.
He's baiting us
Look
on
at the
Jordan.
stats.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't.
Quarterback.
I'm just glad you guys didn't have that argument today. On the other area. Oh wow. Okay. And
Tom Brady.
Sam Darnold. He said, yeah, that's why he said that. I mean, even though this guy over here is a Cowboy fan, we got another Cowboy. We're outnumbered. And did we?
You got 2-2.
No. So we don't know who Vegas is in on.
His allegiances.
In the pro football side. I know everything else. Is he a Giants
Yeah,
fan?
he's a
Really?
Giants fan.
Oh my
He's very
God.
excited on Barkley.
I feel so bad for him as a Giants fan.
He's a big, what's their quarterback now? Jackson Dart.
Jackson
Big
Dart,
guy.
Big Jackson Dart guy, and he's got his coach now. He's got John Harbaugh. So okay, so
Jackson Dart,
I'm not-
known galvanizer of men.
I am not hating the John Harbaugh hire in New York. They've gone through a string of just like really horrific coaches in both New York programs, New York, New Jersey, I guess, because technically they play in New Jersey, which still drives me crazy. They still say it's New York, New Jersey. Like even the World Cup up there said New York, New Jersey. It's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey, and it takes a while to get there by public transportation. I've done that. I've done the trip from Penn Station all the way up to the Meadowlands. All right, so last hour, NBA Summer League. We'll talk about that a little bit. Best fits for LeBron as he keeps pushing that out. Some NCAA Division II. You don't talk about Division II that much here on Sports Talk Radio, but we have some NCAA Division II, and we will also reference Mr. Tom Dundon because he got an offer from the city of Portland on the Moda Center, and I'm sure that's probably where you want to go with this, right, Goose? We're going to talk about that in the last hour as well. But first, we'll take our last break of the hour, Sports Bite at the top of the hour, and then we'll come back, a little Tom Brady, Jake Paul conversation. Are you serious right now? We're going to talk about that next on the Sports Animal. This is The Drive. Thanks for tuning in, friends. Hour number 2 coming up. All right. Thank you very much, Vegas. Welcome back to The Drive, sportsanimalEUG.com and on all the socials. I'm Doc. Right over there is Baby J. What up, boy? What? Right there. It's right here.
You can see it.
It's right here.
You're looking
If you look at
this is Drink Radio.
wait a second. Goose looks a little perplexed that we're pointing at things. Can you point at your microphone, please, as people in the video?
Trying to get closer to it.
I'm pointing to the
Yes, please do that. And so you just told us before, like the break before, you were trying to cut back on your soda intake.
know.
And then what did you do on the last break?
It's like
Are you
things that
addicted?
You never have it in your house. You never have it, and then you get out somewhere and there's unlimited amounts of it. It's like if I go to Chicken Bones, I'm going to get like 3 refills just because it's like unlimited options.
And by the way, Anna, I need to come out and see you tomorrow. Anna at Chicken Bones, who's a great sponsor
there
of
yesterday.
Sports Animal.
That was the other problem. Yesterday I went there, so I had like 3 sodas there, and they came in here and had 3, and I went home and I was like shaking. So I'm like, I just gotta. Now that I'm gonna be in here every day, I gotta stop drinking 3 sodas.
Well, you're going to be in here every day for this week. This is your last day this week, and then you're leaving us for 3 days. You don't have it when you're
Next week, my soda consumption.
Well, what happens next week that you're not going to have soda? Is there not soda where you're going? Are you going to Mars?
Which is hilarious because all I think I drink is the.
I know. There's none in my house. I have iced tea. I'm always drinking iced tea at home.
So do you brew it yourself? Like
Yeah.
on the back. So my wife loves doing that. So she puts all the
Filter
tea
in.
bags in. No, she puts and just put we call it sun tea, obviously, and the sun bakes it.
No, I just have tea.
So you do hot tea?
No, well, it comes out hot, but then I put it in the fridge and it becomes cold.
You should try just getting like the gallon.
My mother-in-law
Glass thing. Isn't that good though? So I'm not much of a tea drinker, but I'll drink that. So, all right. The Danny, Justin, and Goose radio program. We call it The Drive. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on the old YouTube, hello. We see you there. And go to sportsanimalEUG.com. We got Vegas and Hawk in the other studio, Studio B. We're in Studio A. Coming up in this hour, Matt Dompe from the Eugene Emeralds, general manager, former voice of the Emeralds, who got to do a game this year. So we're going to talk about that experience again with him and what's coming up with the M's as they won the first half of the Northwest League. So they are into the championship. They host the championship. And that will be up at the end of summer, actually into September. But the M's are on the road right now, taking on the Everett Aqua Sox. They're scuffling a little bit, but, it's the second half of the season. You won the first half. You're going to play in the postseason. So I don't want to say who cares, because I think that Jacob Hayward absolutely cares, the manager of the M's, and all those players do care. But at the same time, it's like now you can kind of, I don't want to say put your foot off the gas, but you can give yourself a little bit of the room for error, right?
Well, team-wise, but no, these guys are trying to move up. So if
Right.
you're deciding to take the foot off because your team clinched it, this is where player development comes in. This league's more about player development.
And development is right. Yeah.
So you wouldn't enter now. Maybe it just turns out that you lose some games because somebody else is better, and you don't stress those out. But
Sure.
as an individual player, you're certainly going to the finish because you're trying to move up.
So in this hour, the SEC is seceding.
Succeeding or seceding?
Seceding. You said seceding.
You're talking about seceding.
Okay, we're going to talk about that this hour, and we have a nice photograph that we're going to throw up on the YouTube, all the socials of Chip Kelly and Northwestern Construction. Matt Dompe in the studio. Can the Pac-12 be relevant in football immediately? Your phone calls, if you want to hop in, you got plenty of opportunity at 541-343-5673. 541-343-5673. Hop on. If you hop on, we'll talk to you. You want to talk about any of these topics or others, we'll go in your direction until we talk to Matt. And then the last hour is going to be pretty much a lot of open phones if you want. So you can hop on the YouTube. You can chat with us there if you want as well here on the Drive, Fox Sports Eugene. All right, so our favorite subject, Tom Brady, Jake Paul. They had this. Was this like a MMA or it was some event where Tom Brady went ballistic on Jake Paul? Because Tom Brady loves attention.
I see things like that, and I just don't even.
See, this is Goose.
I'm not a TikTok guy, trending type thing, guys. So you'll have to talk about.
No, this is
I
more
heard he
more.
might be buying a part of WWE, so he's doing this to be part of that. But that's part of that.
To me, Justin, you can dive in on this, and I Goose, I know you're going to have a comment. Is that it's more like Tom Brady is now not playing. I think his dad said this, and I think I heard this on another one of the national talk shows. His dad was never concerned about Tom Brady when he was playing football. He was more concerned what was going to happen when he stopped playing football and not having the attention that he gets every single week because he's out of the narrative every single week. He was more concerned what was going to happen after. So is this what we're seeing right now? Is Tom Brady needs to keep inserting himself to be relevant and be on the top of a story or a headline?
Quite honestly, I don't know why he's acting the way he's acting. I mean,
It's a bit bizarre.
It is bizarre. But
So
to be
talk us
fair,
through this.
It's attention seeking for sure. That's the only reason you're associated.
So
with
what
Logan
did he
Paul.
do? What did he do with, well, you said Jake Paul here, but Logan Paul, I guess.
Yeah, it was Logan Paul.
Okay.
Did I
So,
say
I mean,
Jake Paul? No.
yeah, no, that's all right.
Sorry.
So what did he do that is, because
Well,
I'm
he
kind of
was
with Goose.
caught on video, basically flipping the bird right at Jake Paul and faking a disagreement. It was clearly staged.
Because Logan Paul is part of WWE.
Right, and Logan Paul is a young audience, he's very online. There's a lot of
Right in Goose's wheelhouse.
right, exactly. I guess my more intrigue on the situation is the fact that I didn't like Tom Brady very much as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
When
Well
he was playing
documented.
for the Patriots. I didn't like the Patriots. They won a lot. That's one of the reasons I didn't like him. But I think that it's interesting because I do think as Tom Brady went along in his career, especially after he went to Tampa Bay, the narrative on him completely shifted. And I think that these narrative shifts for great athletes, we just saw it with Lionel Messi, where in the 2022 World Cup, everybody was rooting for Lionel Messi. 2026 World Cup,
Well, not
they're the
everybody.
villains.
A lot of people.
a lot of people.
Not everybody.
But there was a narrative shift.
Sure there was.
So I think it's interesting how, for some reason, what Tom Brady's been doing, the way he's been acting over the last, I don't know, year or so, the stuff with the commentary as well. I think the narrative is like kind of shifting on him, where people are kind of going back to the like, oh, he's not that fun Tampa Bay Tom anymore. He's going to be like this. He comes across as a bit of a sellout, I would say.
So, Goose, you've interviewed a lot of athletes and ex-athletes in terms of after their playing careers are over. Have you ever noticed, or have you commented, or not commented, have you asked questions of like a Justin Wilcox or others that after their playing career is over and the spotlight's off of them, what adjustment that was and how hard it was for them?
That would not have been a Justin Wilcox question.
Okay.
I think he wants the spotlight as far away from him as he could get it.
Okay, well, that was a bad example, but I think you know what I'm asking, though,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think the bigger question is going to be what's going to happen when LeBron retires, because we've seen that he loves this attention. Maybe this is why he can't give it up, because he wants that thing there too. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything. When you're walk around and everybody looks at you and you're this and that, and then, kind of, that's probably, I mean, I had a little bit of that where I was, everybody can't be talking to me about sports forever because I was a sports reporter, and then I got out of that and people were like, oh.
That's how I knew you.
Yeah, people were like, that. So I think a lot of times when you do something for a long time and then you make a switch, yeah, it takes a while to adjust and people kind of come up to the end of that. So I'm sure it's even more so when you're a zillionaire football player.
Also, but the thing is that, it's the old adage that we've heard before, is that it doesn't matter what kind of attention you're getting, attention's attention. And it's the whole thing is that even if you're getting negative reinforcement, you're still having a reaction from somebody. I don't think that's great in this situation for somebody like Tom Brady, because he was a polarizing figure when he was a player, and he became somewhat of a polarizing figure because he kind of fell into the whole Tony Romo thing, where it was like, you're trying to be an expert, you're not a broadcaster. But it's more because Tom Brady had all the success on the field, where Tony Romo was always punching up and never really got to the pinnacle of his craft, which is winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So there was a difference there.
Have we all forgotten that Tom Brady's been a weird guy his entire career? His trainer, what is his trainer's name? Alex something.
Well, yeah, that was the separation from the
Always
Patriots,
been-
which was like, you're not going to have that guy in the room, so I don't want to be with the Patriots anymore.
He definitely comes across as a guy that's trying to figure out his identity after sports. I think that in a lot of ways, LeBron is going to have an easier time, because I think LeBron is going to stay more directly involved with the NBA. I could see him being
I could see him being a coach if
I could
Bronny
see
stays
him-
in the league for 10
I could
years.
see him being a coach, but I think he wants to own a team as well, which not that Tom Brady doesn't also.
He owns a
partial
minority
Yeah.
ownership in the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders.
I just think it's interesting. I
Okay.
mean, the Tom Brady like commentary thing didn't work because we were expecting.
What do you mean it didn't work? He still
he's
has a
highest paid,
contract.
Everybody's upset that what's his name, Greg Olson, isn't on that number one team
For
because
CBS.
Everybody knows that Greg Olson's better.
So do you agree with that? And Mims blanked out of
I
that
guess
whole conversation.
My thing is that when we had Tom Brady coming in, it's like whenever Michael Jordan comments on anything currently going on in the NBA, you want to know what that guy's thinking and see how they're seeing things. It's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
But what Tom Brady offers as a commentator is this vanilla, anybody could have said that sort of commentary.
That's the whole thing, and we talk about this a lot when we talk about how we put things together for this program and others, is what kind of value are you going to add? So this is why I have you guys around, because nobody's going to want to listen to me for 3 hours. So it's what kind of different perspective and value you add. Now, so on this side of the table, I'm looking over at Goose and me, is that we have a different perspective because we're older. That's why you help us with this whole thing. It's serious
I
though,
like the
because
dynamic on it.
because you give us a different viewpoint. Like, I mean, I can't even get Mims to watch a streaming show except for Landman,
Right.
right? I mean, which I didn't know about you the other day until we talked about.
Walk in this room right now.
And I wouldn't care because.
I wouldn't care. You could walk into this room and sit down and you could tell me that was dumb.
But see, to me, it's like this artificial fame, like the Kardashians or whatever. What value do they bring to the room except a pretty face necessarily? And in some people's opinion, and that's all subjective as well, right? What beauty is.
What their face looks like.
Okay.
I
keep trying to-
walk in the room.
I keep trying to pull you into this conversation, Goose. So, all right. So, meaning that we're going to take a break because I know he's got some thoughts on the SEC.
You're talking football. What are you doing?
Are you getting irritated with us? We're trying to attract a certain audience, and it's not just bro talking about
It's not
sports
just-
all the time.
Not just mid 50-year-old men.
He's like,
Tom Brady is nearly there.
okay, so here's the thing. I'm bringing in a stick for Goose to wave around whenever he gets irritated with the rest of us here. When we come back on the Sports Animal, Eugene, here on The Drive, we're going to talk Chip Kelly and talk on a totally different subject. The SEC saying bye-bye to the NCAA and the rest of the model that they have. Coming up later, Matt Dompey this hour. Can the Pac-12 be relevant in football? Stick around, friends. We are just getting started. Hour number 2 here on the Sports Animal in Eugene and Newport. Love that little flock of seagulls. Here on the drive, thanks for tuning in, friends, wherever and however, on the Sports Animal Eugene radio station. We launched this thing yesterday. Goose is going to be cooking me dinner shortly. So what's
Are you
what,
bringing out the wine and cheese that the big super fan gave us yesterday for dinner?
yeah, I haven't okay. I had some of the nuts today. Okay.
What?
I had some of the hazelnuts. We have more. I had some of them. I didn't get lunch today. Okay. I didn't get lunch today. Did you get lunch today?
I did get lunch
Okay.
today.
Goose, did you eat lunch today?
I did. I had a peanut butter sandwich. It wasn't like chicken bones yesterday. I had a real good lunch yesterday. Chicken bones. Today I had to
So wait a
Shout
second.
out to Chicken Bone.
make a little something. for myself.
Shout out to Anna and Chicken Bones. So was it just straight peanut butter? Do you
Yeah.
put
No, I just we've been out of town. My wife's been out of town, and we haven't been to the store, so we just kind of put together what we find. And I found some peanut butter, some jelly, some bread. Some
Oh, so you had jelly. That's what I'm saying. Dude, you're not dry peanut butter. You're not a savage.
Hey, wait. Hey,
What?
It's not something peanut butter sandwich guys. I might be one of them.
Isn't that dry though? I mean,
Again,
really,
but
I mean, just peanut butter is just really, I gotta have
gotta
honey,
have that cream
honey
cheese.
or, okay, so you're not a chunky guy, you're a
No.
creamy guy.
No, very
Chunky
much
or
I
cream?
chunky.
I like chunky as well. So, but I gotta have jelly or honey or something on it, or actually, which dry.
Bananas.
So, okay, I knew you were gonna go there, and I love that. I used to grow. I mean, I grew up. This body was built by peanut butter and banana sandwiches. My wife cannot, as you well know, she cannot stand bananas. She cannot stand the sight, sound, taste, or anything. I
She doesn't
snuck
like
in
that
a
song probably either. Bananas. Bananas. You never heard this? Come on, this is a generational gap right here.
no. Wait,
I
and my
think
wife
way
finds it already.
in the States.
So yeah, you do. So, but yeah, so I snuck in one time when we were, when you go to like, well, hotels or something, they have like the continental breakfast thing where you can grab the little yogurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Yoplait or whatever they have. Now, shout out to Yoplait. Go ahead and sponsor us if you want at sportsanimalEUG.com. And so I grabbed one that was a strawberry banana and I tried to sneak it in on her. I like put it in a bowl. She took one bite. What'd you do? She could taste in the yogurt. She could taste the banana flavor. There's like not like real bananas in it.
And I can respect that.
Okay.
As somebody that has a lot of taste that I disagree with, I can understand.
Okay. Chip Kelly. So can you want to throw up the Chip Kelly picture for the YouTube kids? So Chip Kelly. God.
That's pretty
Are
good,
you
right?
seeing this? Goose. Chip-
Go look it up
Chip
if you-
Kelly.
if you're not on-
If you haven't seen it, we got on the YouTube channel. This is for you folks on the YouTube, but we're of course on the radio here on Sports Animal Eugene.
He's ready for work.
And he's got a he's got
Is this a legitimate safety?
he's got a safety helmet on with a Northwestern logo on the front. And then he's in a blue and yellow vest. I guess, well, purple
Purple
and
and
yellow
I
vest.
just ate a bad banana.
He's
Ah,
a perfect
and-
people eater.
And I guarantee you being in front of those microphones is the most, besides wearing that outfit, the most uncomfortable thing for Chip Kelly to
Let
do.
me tell you,
He does not like the media.
There is not even a hint of a smile on his face.
It is like he's got his arms at his hips. He's like, okay, ask me these next questions. As soon as I can get out of here, I'm gone.
And when I do, blast into space.
So Chip Kelly's bounce, dude. I mean, Ohio, after getting run out of UCLA, Ohio State for a year, they won a national championship. Good on him.
Pretty good.
And then went to the Raiders this past year,
Not
got
so good.
fired before the season
Didn't
was
know how to use
over.
Afton Genti.
And now instead of another head coaching job, he's an OC again at Northwestern. I mean, is this the last? Is this the last ride for Chip Kelly?
I think he likes being away from
Me
the
too.
media, and I think he likes not being recruiting 5 stars because I don't think he likes playing that recruiting game. So I think he
No, absolutely. I think so. I got to know Chip a little bit when he was here, and I actually, because we would run into each other at the little mart that was over right across from Kendall, the little mini mart there that's back behind where they're at. And he would be grabbing coffee the same time I was because I was going that direction, and I got to talk to him a few times. And then being in the media, I did as well. As long as I wasn't on the record with him, he was actually pretty amenable. But I think Chip Kelly, and I've said this before on the air, if he could just sit in a dark room and draw up plays, that is what his jam is.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to deal with donors or parents or recruits or honestly the players at some point. Just let me draw up plays.
Same thing I say about Dana Altman. If Dana Altman
Same
could make
thing.
$2 million
It's a great point.
coaching at Northwest Nebraska Community College,
He'd be happy.
do that because he'd just be
Yeah.
getting some underachievers and trying to turn them into a team. And that's why Chip's Northwestern. He's not chasing Big Ten or national championships. I think he likes being around.
And
Hey,
he
we're gonna bring in some
and he'll
kids
get to
that-
play. He'll get to do his stuff. They're going to give him some of that room, right?
He's
You
gonna
would think.
play.
No. I mean, he gets to play. He gets to
Yeah, but
draw
right,
plays
with-
and create.
with 2- and 3-star recruits. So we'll see how that goes.
Well,
But
he does have, I believe, Aiden Childs is going to be their quarterback, former Oregon State quarterback. I believe he was a 5-star, if I'm not mistaken.
No, now he's on his third school.
He is. He transferred from Michigan
his
State.
backup quarterback is freshman Ryan Day's son.
Oh, well. I
But
wonder
don't
how
you
he
think?
got that position?
But that creation piece for Chip Kelly, I think, is going to be.
But I'm just saying, I think that he's going to find that when he had Jeremiah Smith and some of those athletes, it was a little easier to draw up plays.
You think?
But he's always kind of a team like he wants that challenge of like, I can take anybody, put him in my
I think he did
system.
it in New Hampshire. I think he probably feels like this is New Hampshire again. Suddenly he's not in the spotlight and he can just kind of go about his business back at home. I think that's what he's probably wanting to do there.
Well, what do you think, Danny, about, because we're from that area.
Yeah.
And just imagining Chip Kelly in the suburbs of Chicago, it's just sort of bizarre, right?
Well, I think at this point in his life, I think he's going to fit in just fine. Honestly, I think for him, this is, even though it's going to possibly be the last stop, and I think it will be.
Last ride.
I don't
stop. He's not even. He's like
Yeah, I
early
don't think
60s.
I'm just telling you guys, I just don't think, he's bounced around now. He's been trying to find and recapture what he had at Oregon. He tried it in the NFL at a couple of different spots. It never worked. And then he went back to college and then he was a head coach. That didn't work because he's got a certain mindset that I don't want to say the game's passed him by because I think he's still an offensive genius. And if he's given the right pieces, he can really create something that's going to be special. But all the other things, the NIL, especially the NIL in the college game, he's going to stay a coordinator. And then if he's only at Northwestern for a couple of years, I'd be surprised where the next move's going to be. So I think that he can stay there for several years and help that head coach be successful at a program that is probably going to be funded fairly well. They're going to have smart kids coming into the program. Okay. It's going to be like a Stanford. I don't want to say Stanford light because I think that's diminishing.
Well, we all know
So-
that they're going to start all their press conferences by saying how great it is to get that Northwestern education.
And the expectation of Northwestern is going to be like when Pat Fitzgerald was there, where it was going to be like, if you get to a Rose Bowl one year and whatever, they're going to build a statue for you out there. So the expectation level is going to be low.
That be the statue. I want that,
Okay,
I
right.
want that to be
Okay.
You know, I do think it shows, though, some level of commitment in some way that he is willing to go out there. And I'm sure he looked in the mirror before he went out there. I mean, he looked
No,
like
I don't. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I disagree. I don't think he looked at the mirror. No. Do you think he looked at the mirror, Goose? I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares one bit.
I think that this shows that he's in.
Okay. All right.
And I doubt he's been on social media today looking at that.
Absolutely. All right. So Goose, you brought this up because you wanted to bring this up as we were talking a little more college football. And by the way, if you missed any of the first hour, Max Torres was awesome. We were okay. You can go back to the podcast, but you got to go to Sports Animal EUG and on all the now Apple, iHeart, all of that. You guys got to go back, and it's not the other stuff that we did. Danny and Justin, it's Sports Animal EUG. I'm Danny. You're Justin.
Oh,
Danny okay, sorry. I sorry, I didn't mention your name
No,
when I said that. Okay,
It's not always about
sorry.
it was actually about me in this situation.
Okay, you go back to the socials, you can find us and subscribe to the podcast because we're everywhere. You want to talk about the SEC and what Greg Sankey came out and was talking about as well.
Smart to do. They're still threatening to go off on their own. They insist they can go off on their own if they need to. I think it's just a lot of talk because they're trying to get the Protect College Sports Act to take in some of the things that they're looking to, and so they want to make sure.
I mean, this is even a threat. I mean, we know it's coming. It's
Yeah, I
coming.
don't think so. Because if you go off on your own, you could do a super league if you took, the Big Ten or some other of those with you and put together a 24 team type deal. But if you're just taking those 17, 18 SEC teams, I don't think that, especially, and it's exactly what, who was the guy, the Iowa State AD said, great. Are you going to do that in baseball too? You're just going to have your little teams play each other?
And I think that's a great point. And I think that will kill the Olympic sports and it'll kill the non-revenue generating sports. Basketball still has kind of a push with March Madness and such, but putting 15,000 at the most or 10,000 people in seats for basketball doesn't even equate to having 80,000, 100,000 for 6 or 7 games in football.
Yeah,
it's not even.
I think they feel like their champ is the true champ, even though they haven't had the champ for the last 3 years, and that if they go off on their own, they can pull it off. But it feels to me like at this point, it's more than a threat that they know isn't really something. I think they're just trying, like I say, to kind of get the word out to see if they can get this Cruz Cantwell bill to include some of the things they want before it goes up for vote. They felt like with their media days coming right now, they have a chance because there's talk that this thing could go up for a vote like next week. I think they realize
what are they going to vote on?
They're just the Protect College Sports Act, but they're looking at adding a few different things to it that the SEC and the Big Ten have asked to be in there.
So do you think this is just all talk then? Like they wouldn't really do this?
Sure. Absolutely
I don't think
negotiate.
you'd make more money, and I think you'd lose coach. Every one of your minor sport coaches would leave because you're not going to be, you're not going to play a 56 game college baseball schedule.
Right. How do you have that meeting?
16 other teams.
With a coach that's based, you got to tell that coach you got to raise all your own money now.
Yeah.
And then you got to go out and try and figure out a schedule that there's no conference to play in.
Call Mitch Cannon, ask him how easy that was.
So, I mean, thank God. And we'll talk about this next hour, or actually maybe at the end of this hour, depending on how long we go with Matt Dompe. Can the Pac-12 be relevant in football immediately? Which I think is a fair question. I don't think immediate is going to be their answer, but I think
Define immediate.
okay, that's what we'll talk about. That's called a tease. We'll talk about that later on there. So what do you think? Right off the top of your head, say yes or no.
I think they can be relevant for the one group of 5 spot in the playoff, but I don't think they're going to be nationally relevant beyond who their champion is.
But I think the makeup of the conference, and I feel for the Oregon State fans, the Washington State fans that got kind of left in the dust when the Pac-12, the original Pac-12, got blown up. But I'm not hating what Teresa Gould's been able to put together, and I like the possibilities down the road. I mean, I'm still the guy that's going to say Cal and Stanford can come back home. And I know everyone's been poo-pooing that with me, but I think, especially now with travel costs and everything else, and no really incredible TV contract and half shares in the ACC, I think the soonest they can get out of the ACC is going to be better on the balance sheet for them to make the Pac, what's now still the 8, even though it's the Pac-12, make it a Pac-10 again. I know you disagree with that.
They have to tell San Diego State and Fresno State that they're equals with them, and believe me,
they'll do it.
The high and mighty at Stanford and Cal are not willing to welcome in Fresno State and San Diego State.
You really think that?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
well, we'll have that conversation as well.
Quick thoughts from
Sure.
me. I think that this Pac-12 conference, the new one, all about Boise State to me. They've always been that team, and you guys
Okay.
are probably gonna have your reason why you disagree.
We'll talk
They've
about that
always
in the
been
last
team that I've been watching is can they take that next step
Okay.
at some point?
We'll talk about that in the last segment. All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, hopefully the Godfather has found his way to the new studios here on SportsAnimalEUG.com, Sports Animal Eugene, 102.9, 1050 AM here locally in the Eugene market, and of course over on the coast, KNCU 92.7 FM Fox Sports Newport. I'm Danny. Right over there is Justin. Here's Steve. And Blaze and Dom back over there in Studio B. We'll be back with the Godfather, Matt Dompe, next. Okay, I need to object. I'm going to tell Vegas, just kill this music right now. Just kill it. Just kill it. Kill the music. Give me the right music. I'm just telling you, give me
yeah.
the right music. We can't do this.
There we go.
There's no way we can do this. Keep pulling me back out. Pull me back in. On my daughter's wedding day, you come to me with this request. It's the Godfather. It's Matt Dompe. Here on the Sports Animal, his first time with the new show. SportsAnimalEUG.com, on all the socials, Sports Animal EUG. We're on YouTube, and we welcome the Godfather here in studio, and you can see him live. There you go, buddy.
Thanks for having
Look
me.
at you. Look at you. You're looking spry. So wait a second. I'm just going to back up a second. Isn't the word spry supposed to be used like when you turn like 75 or 80 years old and you're bouncing around?
I don't know.
Ask the wordsmith.
Yeah.
Oh, he's older than everybody else.
Younger than you.
Of course he is.
I don't know what spry means. It means you can get around and move around.
Right.
I think you can be 15 and be spry and 75 and be spry.
Maybe we need to do a word of the day again. Maybe we need to revive a word of the day.
Bay, that new.
Oh, yes. Oh, I have. Yes.
So that old
Matthew
lady,
Rice.
The old lady.
Yes.
who is, she's spry, I would think.
Okay. So you're a wordsmith. You know what spry means.
Get it? I don't know what the context is. Am I spry?
You moved pretty quick.
That's good. All right. So it's Matt
Back you're
Dompe.
fighting with.
Eugene Emerald's general manager, former broadcaster. You got to do a game. We already talked about that last time. Second half of the season. So now we're getting into the dog days, as people call it, of the summer. So how are things changing for you as a GM? Because I'm sure there's more movement, obviously, up and down and across and such. And so how has the dynamic changed from the beginning of the season? You win the first half, so now you know you're playing in the Northwest League Championship game. You're going to host that. Until now, what has changed?
Well, that first half, we had such little movement. It was pretty crazy, even in the long season format. When, you get to this time is when it really starts to move. But we lost some pitching in early June. Then right before the All-Star break, 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
we lost our three best hitters, which was rough. Two of the guys went to the Futures game. Gavin Keelan, the shortstop, and Dakota Jordan, the center fielder, both
And never came back.
Double-A.
They took him down there and said, "You're not going back to Eugene."
Well, they in the Eugene locker room, the manager took a finger, handed them or pulled out their return plane
Yeah.
tickets from Philadelphia where the All-Star game was back to Eugene. They're like, "Well, we're throwing these away. You guys." It's great for them.
Cool for them, but not cool for Eugene.
Yeah, which was their goal, obviously. Then
Yeah.
Trevor Cohen, our other outfielder, leadoff guy, promoted the next day. But we got a couple of guys that were hitting over 300 in San Jose. San Jose, level below us in the Giant system, they won the first half as well. So they've got a lot of guys down there. And then, kind of nice that it was literally a day or two after these guys were being shipped out to Richmond, the draft happens. So now we're hopeful that, maybe some of these higher draft picks might
Filter down.
filter into our system by the end of the season before we make this playoff push. And particularly one interesting one, Drew Smith, the Ducks' third baseman, was drafted by the Giants in the 15th round. I don't know if we'll see him this year or if he finishes the year in San Jose, but in the 16 years we've been at PK Park since the revitalization of the Ducks program, we've never had a draft pick from our affiliate to draft a Duck. So
That'd be
pretty
awesome.
cool. I'd imagine there's a pretty good chance he'll be here to start next year.
So is that typical then for that to be a next year thing, probably for the guys that are drafted right now?
Yeah, it's kind of 50-50. You'll see. It really depends.
It's kind of
where
like
they're
if you're a
at.
college bat or a
For
college
sure.
arm versus a high school guy.
For sure. Like a college bat is what I always root for. And, you get to see him every day, see him pretty quick. The Giants with the number 4 overall pick took the pitcher out of Santa Barbara, Florida.
Yeah.
He threw over 100 innings down in Santa Barbara. So, I'm holding out hope to maybe see him for a few starts at the end of the year, but pretty unlikely. I'd assume he starts here for the first half of next year. Then in the late first round, where they had a pick that they traded for from Cleveland for Pat Bailey, then they drafted a high school pitcher, which is even worse because we might not see him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because 18-year-old.
Right.
So yeah, it all depends on who they pick. Like I always root for college bats because I just think it's more interesting. You can see them every day.
Good track record as well.
Yeah, and like first round college bats, like if you go through the list of the Emerald 2010, the last couple of years,
Was Bryce Eldridge a college bat?
Eldridge was a high school kid.
He was high
He
school.
was like a year or two before he got here. Very quickly was up in the big leagues.
Trey Turner.
Trey Turner, Ian Happ,
Well, but yeah, back in the when it was the Cubs affiliate, the Cubs loved drafting this college.
Jen Jerko.
Jed Jerko, 2010.
Almost-
Look at Mim pulling stuff out there.
So yeah, all these there was a long list of maybe 8 years in a row when we had a first round college bat that they all made it to the big league.
Well, it's so weird for you and I because it used to be that your team was the draft. The draft was before the season. The draft was the first week of June. Your team didn't start till June 21st. So basically, your roster was a bunch of Dominican guys who were coming up from the year before, and
That's a great
then,
point.
20
Yeah.
guys from that. So it's weird now to me, having been out of it, to think that the draft comes in and makes these guys might even be too late for them to be there. But I was laughing. You've got you got this summer schedule. So now in July, you set up Christmas in July and trick or treat coming up this weekend at home. We got to hit the year-round holidays, even if we only got 6 months to get them
We're filling them in. We were just like, I don't know, does it make sense? I feel like there's some sort of sense to doing the down the road holidays, and it's good for the both kind of kids nights on our Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So it works out. Trick or treat night's always a fun one. We get a bunch of different partners out there passing out candy, and it's crazy how many of these kids. I mean, they're probably wearing their costume from last year, but
in.
a couple hundred kids will all come dressed up in their Halloween costume in July. So more power to them.
That's pretty awesome.
What is the Bill Walton and Merry Pranksters night on Thursday? Thursday the 31st.
On Friday,
Friday the 31st. Yeah.
Bill Walton bobblehead giveaway. He's wearing the old tie-dye uniforms
Yeah.
that we used to wear on the road.
Yeah.
So it's Bill Walton in a tie-dye uniform. We partnered with him and his family and the Mo Lucas Foundation last year to do a Emerald Merry Pranksters basketball jersey to play with Walton on the back. We were kind of talking about this in the office today, like trying to seamlessly identify what this connection between Eugene and Bill Walton is. He's
Yep.
a friend with Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters, and obviously he would love and talk so much about Eugene when he would come and do the Ducks basketball games. So we always want to do something with him. And then until after he passed, we really reached out to the family, and they were all about it. And they loved the bobblehead. We sent down a few of them, and they were really excited about it.
I love that. Matt Pompey joining us. He's the Godfather. His walk-up song is the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song, and he is famous for Irish goodbyes. And he joins us here on the.
Is that still on the website?
Absolutely. So, are you going to change that?
For over a decade.
I pull your bio. You can follow him on the social. No, he can't. He's on camera. He can't just walk up and leave. I mean, we're going to know. He joins us here on the drive here on the brand new Sports Animal Eugene as we move through here on a Tuesday. So I love that you have put things together with the Walton family, because Bill Walton was devastated. I mean, not devastated. He was angry when the Pac-12 broke up. I mean, there was a disconnect, unfortunately, and he loves Oregon. I mean, I don't know if I ever told you guys this story. When I first moved out back in 1976, 77, and then the next year when Walton broke his leg after the World Championship for the Blazers, he was down hanging out in Ashland. He was there with his cast. I ran into him in a grocery store, in one of the natural grocery stores, obviously, down in Ashland, Oregon, when he was hanging out. And the guy was he was massive. He was huge. And I got to meet him a couple of times after that when he came up here for doing broadcast. And, I know that to me, it's strange because Bill Walton sometimes seems to be a polarizing and divisive figure, because people think that, he was like over the top and such. But one of the most genuine people ever that you would meet. And I love that you guys are associating with the family and do something that give back to the community.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Bruin, so that's first on the table that
Sure.
that it's cool to be able to do something with a Bruin legend. But it's a really cool thing. And working with the Mo Lucas Foundation, where they help out underprivileged youth up in the Portland area, they got to bring a busload of those kids down. They're going to do that again this year. It was also cool. Well, it wasn't great. Last year we miscalculated. We forgot that we did a drone show in late June. We didn't realize till the week of this is the week of the summer solstice where it doesn't get dark until 9:45. So of course the game went an hour and 58 minutes. So we had to try to figure out how to fill 5 minutes. And during the game, our video person was downloading these montages of Bill Walton highlights from his announcing day.
Try and keep people there.
Yeah, just to do something to fill the airtime, and it was pretty hilarious listening to all his like top things with him and Dave Pash and
Pash is
older
incredible.
ones back
Yeah.
in the like 2000s when he was doing the NBA.
Yep.
Well, you've had it the other way around. You've had a 4th of July game go till 2 a.m. as well when you wanted it to be over about 9:30. So it seems like you're
I think it was at that game actually, and in the parking lot.
Get that thing tied down. You need to start talking to people like, hey,
Story.
we need this thing
Yeah.
to get out of this.
Okay, here we go.
I will
The
say,
Godfather.
I will say baseball does not really like time, but the pink clock and the ghost runner.
Yeah.
I mean, we never would have gone 20 innings if the ghost runner was.
Yeah.
And so we were happy to see that get implemented, like maybe the next year or 2 years later.
And how's Jacob Hayward doing?
He was great. I mean, I think we could pull out a late season run here. I think he's got a good chance to go back to back as a
Nice.
like last year.
Great.
Any concern about how long he could be with how well he's done?
I mean, that's completely out of our hands. But the
You
Giants
hope
make
that,
the
right?
decision.
I mean, you're in this business where you want to say goodbye. I mean,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
now
for
you know
sure.
they're moving up, right?
Yeah, you want to move up. The coaching staff, having some continuity with coaching staff is pretty nice because we work with them. They're obviously the only people on the staff that we know they're going to be there
Right.
the whole year.
Yeah.
It is nice to have some continuity. It's a little weird this year than a trainer. I mean, like the 6 different coaches that come every year from the San Francisco system. Our trainer was the only one who was a returner, so we had to meet these
You
guys.
replaced everybody didn't know that. Really?
I didn't replace everybody.
Well, okay, not you.
Different assignments, and so they all went different directions, and so we had a new manager, new hitting coach, new pitching coach, fundamentals coach, was kind of like a bench coach, new strength and conditioning coach. We kind of all had to get them indoctrinated into how we run things here in Eugene, and some of our issues that we went into early season with field time and stuff like that, which was a lot better this year. So they were really appreciative of what we were able to work out with the facility and getting them more playing time pregame than they've had previous years.
You know your way around a microphone. I think 12 years as the voice of the Emeralds. Did I get that right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
About right.
What, you don't count? You haven't counted it up?
I mean, it's weird. I started at the end of the 2011 year and just raised my hand to go to Yakima for the final road trip.
that was your first
And then
mistake.
I got booted a month into the season last year, so I don't know how you calculate it. And then what's 2020? I didn't do anything that year.
Right. Okay. All right. I get your point. So maybe
No, go ahead.
the verb to work on, but new job now with the job. Not super.
No.
But at this point, compared to your of the dropping that, a drop in the bucket. So what do you wake up and you say, I can't wait to do this today? What are the things you say? Every job has these things where it's like it's not the most fun thing.
Just experienced this yesterday, by the way, in our first day.
Well, Tuesdays in April, the attendance can keep you up at night a little bit. But I'd say things like our last 2 giveaway nights we've had. What was it? A couple weeks ago, we did an Exploding Whales jersey giveaway.
Nice.
It was literally wrapped around Autzen Stadium, past the East End Zone gate, past the visiting locker room.
That's so awesome.
And then just the other day, last Friday, we did a Hawaiian shirt giveaway, and it was darn near the same length of line. So seeing people excited showing up an hour. Well, we opened the gates an hour before the game, so people showing up 2-3 hours before the game just to try to get these giveaways and be part of the promotions, and also just seeing all the people. Because I was in the booth forever, I never really got a good idea of like how many people participated in the themes, like how many people wore their own Hawaiian shirts on that night, and how many people wear their cowboy boots and their belt buckles on country night. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive how that's grown over the years, and people really get into the theme nights.
And you started a new tradition this year with the log. How's the log still been? Are people
Hasn't
still?
been as lucky this summer.
Well, there's going to be listen, you guys put together a scorching first half. So there's going to be a little backtrack.
No, for sure. No, the Lucky Log's been really cool. That's another fun thing. Like, as people are leaving the game, like, I'm a Giants fan, so we don't leave early. But, people just want to leave sometimes after the 7th inning stretch. And it's funny if we're down by 3 or 4 runs and they knock on the log on the way out. Be like, all right, thank you. You guys are going to be a part of the comeback.
Next
So,
year. Yeah.
You talk about players. You guys have a front office person who's got a job in the NBA or something like that. Did I see one of your ticket sales or something like that? Just got something like the Maverick.
yeah, he was our box office manager. And he's got a job with the Dallas Mavericks full time. So he has moved on to the big leagues, I guess you would say.
You're meeting people. You're meeting every time you can.
We just produce talent.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah, look at you. All right. Well, Matt, we're going to let you go. We're up against a break. We got to get a couple of more commercial breaks in. We got to pay bills. Okay. So now that I'm an
Now
owner,
Danny has to pay the bill.
I got to pay the bills.
Much more on
I
time.
got to make sure that I'm paying the bills. So we really appreciate you. And thanks for being here in studio now. This is going to be our home. So
Awesome. Love it.
all right, man. So there he goes. It's the Godfather, Matt Dompe. You can follow him through the Eugene Emeralds. He's the voice that you hear through our microphones. And once in a while, whenever he kicks Jacob out of the booth, he's the voice of the M's once again. When we come back, really quick, we'll get you to the top of the hour and another sports bite from Vegas in the other studio. Next hour, what's the best fit for LeBron? And does the NBA Summer League mean anything to anybody besides an NBA fan when we come back on the Sports Animal, Eugene? Hello, kids. Welcome back to The Drive, live on the Sports Animal Eugene in the Willamette Valley and also on the coast. Our good friends at Fox Sports Newport, 92.7 KNCU. Top of the hour. Welcome back to the last hour of the program. As if you're listening or watching through the socials on YouTube, on Twitter, and what's the other one we got? We're on Twitch as well. Sports Animal EUG. And also go to the website, sportsanimalEUG.com. Like, subscribe, follow us there. Great talk with Matt Dompe, our godfather, the general manager of the Eugene Emeralds, as they are in the second half of their season and into the last month next week. And then the playoffs are, did he say it's the 10th, 11th, 12th? No, it's the 11th, 12th, and 13th.
He just said they get games 3, 4, and 5. That was all I heard.
Okay. And that's going to be down at PK Park at the beginning of September. So, and we're working on something to do something.
I think it's the 8th and 9th are the away games, and then 11th, 12th, and 13th are games 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. And obviously it's best 3 out of 5. So, I mean, you might only, if the M's sweep the
guaranteed
first
one
2
game.
games, you're going to
Guaranteed
sweep. Are you
one.
okay? Are you going to stay with us?
I think the soda's putting me there. That's why I got to stop.
I mean, I was going to say, you're yawning over here. I think we were going to bore
I
you.
do a full job all day long, so I'm up now at 6 o'clock.
Oh.
doing my other job. So I'm just like,
Well,
I know you do a full job
excuse
as
me.
well. It's a long day.
And we appreciate
I don't need to start drinking coffee either. I don't drink coffee either. So that's another thing.
He's a tea guy.
I'm still drinking soda and coffee all day long.
So here's the thing. He doesn't watch shows that stream except for Landman. It's only, and he drinks tea, not coffee. And he drinks too much soda when he's around us. So I don't know if we're a good influence on him.
Yeah. Well, it's only day 2. I got a chance to make some habits, change some personal habits.
So friends, thanks for hanging in. And that's sincere. And by the way, we still want to give a shout out, and whoever our super fan is out there, I broke into the hazelnuts, but we haven't broken into the bottle of champagne or the Pinot Noir or the sausages or the mustard or the crackers or anything else you gave us. So we got a beautiful box and a package from just a note that said super fan and wished us great luck and success, which I love that karma. I'll take that. I will wrap my arms around that. And so thank you, whoever you are. And I'm just telling you, you can call the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673 when we're not here on the air doing the show. And I would like to talk to you and just say thanks. So if you don't want to be on, I know you probably did that because you don't want the recognition. You don't want to have your name out there and be on the air. But I want to say thank you personally. So if you're out there, and I know you're listening because you're a super fan, you're listening. And follow us on Sports Animal EUG on all the socials. All right, boys. So does the NBA Summer League mean anything to anybody? It's over, right? It's ended. Does it matter? Does it matter development-wise?
The Warriors won the title.
Yeah.
What?
No, because the best players only play. The best players only play like the first 2 games. You know, like we saw Devonta and Peterson play. So it's sort of they hype it up for the first 2, and then those guys get their 2 or 3 games right done, and then by the time, I mean, Lendenborg was playing the title game. By the time they get to the title game, it's
And he was
not-
trashing his team, by the way. He's in Memphis, right? He's
Yeah.
in Memphis.
No, he's in Golden State.
Oh, Golden State.
They beat Memphis.
Okay. But he was
He-
trashing his teammates a little bit, the ones that were on the floor
Well,
with him.
the ironic thing about Lendelborg is he's a 24-year-old rookie that is not known for his maturity. I do. Can I
Did
make
you
the
see
argument-
that, though?
I
Did you?
And
Okay.
He was also
Was he
talking
wrong
about
laziness? About,
well, he was
not
also
being.
talking not very nice things to Cam Boozer. who will be
I mean,
free
I don't know
agent
how
for
long
the
that's going to
season.
last for him in the league if he does that.
Can I make the argument not that Summer League is the end all be all? I think that we've seen stuff like when we watched Jan Hansen. I think we saw some of the things that he was doing in these games in the G League last year. And then like Travis said yesterday, you get to make up against NBA guys and all of a sudden it's a little bit different story. So we'll kind of wait and see on Jan Hansen despite him looking pretty good in the Summer League. I do think that, for example, I know I'm a Bulls fan, but Caleb Wilson coming in there and absolutely shooting the lights out when nobody thought he could shoot. He was a non-shooter in college. He shot, I think he was 25 total threes, made 7 of them, 25% shooter. Comes out, hits 7 threes his first game. I don't think that means nothing. I think that definitely means that he's worked on his game. Is he going to be that kind of shooter in the NBA? No. Does, at that point, Memphis, who had the 3rd pick and show it was a debate between him and Boozer, are they thinking a little bit like, man, I don't know if this guy was supposed to look this good this quickly. Do they start having questions that quickly over their draft pick? I'm not sure. They clearly like their guy, but I do think you can see a little bit of improvement with some of these guys, and you can see different aspects of their game that you might not have known were there because of whatever situation in college or whatnot.
So I think the offensive side of the ball is a facade when it comes to the summer league, because one, I don't believe anybody in the NBA plays defense until you get to the playoffs and until it matters. That's one. So, and also you're not playing against those players every day. Like you just said, the starters are going to be, basically playing 2 games and then they're out and they're not going to be there anymore. So it's kind of like this false narrative of how good can you be in the NBA Summer League. And I don't know. I think you can work on your mechanics and you can work on certain things on those, but you also can work against your own team doing those things. So I don't know how much relevance there is in the NBA Summer League, because half those players are going to be gone. They're not going to make a roster. They're not going to be playing against you in when the real season starts.
Would
So-
you say then that we don't need it? We just don't need
No.
somebody-
I still
So
think
how can it mean nothing?
no. I didn't say it meant nothing. I said it didn't mean as much. I didn't say it meant nothing. Oh, I got to go back to the tape. All
Looking
right.
at the segment here, and it says, "Does NBA Summer League mean anything?" And your answer was,
Yeah, it is. It's like the NFL preseason for me. It's literally the only thing you're doing with the NFL preseason, or even this, is you're inviting somebody to get hurt, with somebody getting rolled over or fall down wrong, and now you've blown up a kid that's you're paying $5 million a year to, and you're not going to see him for a year.
do we all remember? And I know you got something to jump in your mouth. Do we all remember Victor Cruz though? Victor Cruz wouldn't have made a name for himself.
And where's
not-
Victor Cruz now? He was
Had
a in the NBA.
Whenever we get Vegas in here, he'll talk about
Okay,
Victor
all right,
Cruz,
forever.
Giants guy. But
All right.
that's an example of a guy that I'm not saying it's every time. I'm not saying every single
Okay.
big performance leads to that, but I think it does mean something.
All right, old man, help me out here.
Well, it actually means the most probably for the guys who were trying to make a two-way deal,
Punch
or
up.
something like that.
Right.
Guys who are just trying to make a roster because they were getting to play kind of with later. I'll tell you, like I said, at the beginning of it, I was watching it with like Peterson versus DeBonson and things like that, and I thought that was great. And then by I swear it was like day 5, I was like, "Ooh, it's Chicago versus somebody else," and they're both like none of those guys play more than 2 or 3. So I don't know why.
Right.
They have and they have a playoff system for it, which is dumb because nobody.
It
wants
doesn't
to
make
do that
sense
thing.
either.
The whole last week of the thing is it's terrible TV. I don't
So
know
do
if
you
ESPN
watch it?
No,
Do you-
I was watching some of the Bonson versus Peterson ones, but then when I would turn it on, I was like, "Hey, this looks great,"
And then
I
you're
watched it,
out.
and I'm like, yeah, so you're right. I don't know why ESPN televised this those last few weeks, but I would think they would start saying, "Hey, we'll take those first 5 days or something," but after that, because nobody can be watching.
So can we flip this to that the NBA Summer League is for the diehards?
totally, it's a diehard. I think it's more for the scouts or the college fans that want. to-
Well, but I mean for the viewing, for
Again,
the people that are
there's
listening to
not a lot of
us
TV
right
right
now.
There's not a lot of TV right now.
It's
mostly
diehards.
inventory. It's inventory for ESPN once Wimbledon ends.
I think it's for the diehards and for people that are just like really excited about their new young players. They want to watch that first or second game. The Wizards fans are just like, yeah, I want to see Agent.
But a
Johnson
guy's
and
going to
what
ride
they're
the end of
for.
the bench for half the
Oh,
season
but-
and get 4 minutes a game.
But sometimes you guys come out there and it's like Braden Burries. We didn't, think all the world of Braden Burries coming into the summer league, and he was a good player at Arizona. But he looks pretty good now in summer league, and I'm like, wow, I'm excited to see Braden Burries.
But
in
for
NBA.
the Blazers, did we learn a lot more about Jan Hansen in this summer league than we didn't know about him last year? Did we see enough progression because he got
I didn't watch a
buried?
single Blazer game.
So
I
there-
cannot
so
say
there's-
anything. That's why
but
I
you-
asked, that's
you
why
didn't-
I asked the mayor yesterday because I wanted to know what he thought because I didn't watch it.
I
So
think
so
he gave a good answer.
he
I
did.
don't even know if any of the Blazer games are on TV. I don't feel like ESPN shows every game, so I don't even know if the Blazers
Probably not, and I
If they
don't.
wanted to show all the teams that had top draft picks, the Blazers didn't have one.
And we're not going to bring up his name because I haven't queued Vegas on what to do on the sounder unless it's still up there.
It's still there.
Okay, so Vegas, go ahead, get ready. Here we go. Tom Dundon does not care about Jan Hansen's development.
He
All
didn't
he
care about the two-way guys.
I'm surprised he puts a team into summer league. That costs a lot of money.
Oh, he cost some money.
He's probably trying to get money back in terms of, hey, can I get a rebate if we don't finish in the top 3 on these
Right, if I can
inflated standings? Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a fair question though. that you brought up is does it mean anything? I think it's about your perspective, and which is everything in the world. Is if you're a diehard, you're like, I want to, just like what you said, I want to see the guys that they just recruited or the guys, right? You want to see them out there playing on the floor and see how they can hoop it up and all that. That's fine. But for the overall, I don't think it means a hill of beans in the overall.
Well, and a team like the Blazers too. I mean, yes, the Johan Johansson situation, but I can guarantee you almost every single one of those guys that are on the roster besides him are probably not even just fighting for a job in the Blazers. They're just looking for a
That's the
position.
thing. You're trying to showcase.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
SportsAnimalEUG.com is where you can find all of our socials everywhere you go. And that's where we also have our podcast. We're also on YouTube live. We're going to have the audio totally fixed by tomorrow. So you're going to be able to hear all the callers. And if you want to call in at 541-343-5673, that's our Oregon Man Clinics hotline. We're going to talk about the best fits for LeBron. He just keeps hanging around because he's not answering any questions yet. And he's going to announce it on his own terms with his agent on his podcast. But we'll talk about it because I think we have some thoughts about the best fits for LeBron James. I know Goose is waiting for that segment, and he's been waiting for that for about 2.5 years. No, we're going to talk about it right now. We're going to do it right now in this segment because we still have a little bit of time. No, not yet. No, I'm teasing the rest of the show. So I want people to leave because once we start talking about Tom Dundon, I want to be able to have plenty of time to talk about it. So we're going to do that right now. We got also some news out of NCAA Division II. Baby J's been doing some work. And so
Shout out to Vegas for that one.
okay, we'll give Vegas a shout out for it then. So we'll talk about that in one of the last segments of the show. Okay. So the Portland City Council, the city of Portland sent over the proposal because this whole $600 million revamp of the Moda Center, which to me, okay. I mean, I've gone to the Moda Center plenty of times. It seems fine to me, but apparently a 20-year-old arena is now old school and you need to revamp it. And the city of Portland, so I brought this point up before, the city of Portland owns that arena. Okay.
They bought it for a penny or $1.
Right. From the Paul Allen
Blazers
group.
don't want the liability on it.
Okay. So my whole point on this thing, when people start, and listen, I am not a fan, as you well know, if you listen to this program, well, not this program, but the last program of Tom. I'm going to let you do one of those, by the way, Goose. It's really fun. Of Tom Dundon, of Tom. Dundon. However, he doesn't own the building. It's kind of like asking somebody who is leasing the building from you to pay for all the improvements. It's like, to me, and I've said this before, I think it's pretty simple in far as I'm concerned. Give him an equity stake if you want him to put money into it. He is getting a benefit from it, but it's still not my building. If I leave, then why do you want me to put $200 million into something that I'm going to walk away from? I don't own it. It's like if you're renting a house, are you going to paint the walls and replace the carpet and put an irrigation system in if I'm not getting some consideration back from the owner? Would you do that?
No, I'm not getting anything back on that. No. I think the bigger issue is just the fact that the city of Portland thinks they're in a negotiation and Tom Dundon does not feel like he is in a
I think that's exactly the point.
Which side you take and whether he should or not, that doesn't matter.
What matters to you then in
He's
this?
not going to give it to public pressure. Oh my gosh, the people think I should pay, so now I'm going to pay. That's
100% agree.
That's totally not the conversation. The conversation is, we literally have one person who's saying, do this way, or, and these politicians are used to negotiating, where you say, all right, well, that's where they're starting at, and here's where we're starting at, and then we'll meet in the middle. And he's just saying, we're not meeting in the middle. Get over to me, or we'll look around.
Are you worried they're going to move?
I think at this point, it's probably 50-50.
Really?
I really do.
And move
I don't think
move north?
I don't think he cares.
And move
Well, he
north?
definitely doesn't care.
I think, and I heard this on a different podcast the other day, but I think you're going to see the NBA slow down on the Seattle and Vegas expansion
Until
that
this
they
gets
remain
resolved?
a viable option for Portland, so that it keeps the negotiation for Dundon to be, because right now people are like, oh, he's not going to go to Nashville. Austin's not big enough. There's not any other great ones. I think the NBA is going to back off a little bit on the expansion until they can get this so that he can say, hey, Vegas and Seattle, and that looks like a real threat from where to go.
Do you see a situation where he moves the current Blazers out, and then at some point the Blazers get, I don't know, kind of like
No, Portland, not the Blazers. It'd be Portland.
Seattle,
But if he's gonna, I know that's true. I mean, but if he's gonna move the Blazers, he's not gonna keep it as the Blazers. He's gonna rebrand. He's gonna do whatever he wants to do.
Just like Oklahoma City did with Sonics.
It just feels like I know. It's just like, how do you not have a team in Seattle? And so it's just, how would you not have a team in Portland?
well, because you have an owner who has zero ties and zero.
Oh, I
layers
understand
to
those
the
logistics. I just think that it's like
He
it's
doesn't
not
care where it is. He wants it to be done in the most financially
Feasible
advantageous
way.
for him way, and he doesn't care where that ends up being. So I think he made it very clear. You guys in Portland get the first chance, and here's what we're going to do. And if you guys come back and don't do it, then we'll look around.
So
and see
do
what else.
we read anything into the report that the city sent over this proposal and that there's been zero response or even acknowledgement from the
Yeah,
Blazers
of course.
organization?
He has said this is the way I want it, and they came back with a term sheet that had not even been discussed with him, and it said we want you to put in $90 million. And he's like, no, I already told you I'm not putting anything into it. Send me the term sheet that matches the terms that I want.
Well,
This line in the sand is dangerous to me. And it will literally, I'm just saying, it will devastate the city of Portland financially. It will, because of what they're generating through ticket sales.
And he knows that, and he knows that's again.
So
part
he
of
is
his
so
leverage.
he is in
That's
the
part
he
of his
is in the negotiating position of strength.
He's not
100%.
It's not a negotiating business. It's a demanding.
Okay.
position. He's-
Okay,
He's not negotiating.
That's
He's
why you're the
demanding.
that's why you're the words.
He is.
what's the role of Adam Silver here? Because Adam Silver was the one, he knew Tom
Silver
Dundas.
just gave it to him.
Does,
He's
does
not-
Adam Silver not care about Portland?
No. No. Okay.
The whole re-
I don't think Adam Silver works for the owners. He does not care one lick about any city anywhere. All
I think
he's
he'd
caring.
like to see them stay, but he's also going to back his own. Like, he wouldn't have allowed Dundon to buy the team 4 months ago. 5
They-
months ago, and then
That's what I'm
suddenly
saying.
They knew what they were getting into when they allowed that group to buy the
is
Blazers.
this the owner you want to have?
I don't.
Well, you
Like-
I think I don't think there's any doubt that maybe a lot of the other NBA owners are kind of like the kind of guy we wanted in the club, and maybe
But-
like this. But right now, we purchased the team.
It sounds like there was
So how many
It's not a
four?
Donald Sterling thing. They take the team away from
How
him.
many $4 billion people do you know?
it sounds like they were
That's
under
true.
offer. It just was the highest offer.
It was the highest. It was the highest bidder. That
It doesn't sound like it was a crazy difference though between what the group.
Yeah,
of
it doesn't
buyers-
matter. It's still if it's $1 more,
Well,
it's
if you
$1.
had-
It should
if
be
the
some level
previous-
of the greater good.
If the previous owner had cared that way, then yes, it would have been. But the previous owner was just looking for top dollar and had no loyalty.
I always love the idyllic way you look at the world, baby.
Shouldn't
J.
there be somebody that's
Absolutely, but
isn't that the commissioner's job to say what's the best thing? For
No,
the I get that he works for the owner. I get that he works for the owner. But whose job is it?
For his league, he brought in $600 million more by going for the
Right.
4.6 than the 4. And that now 4.6 makes these expansion teams worth a whole
More.
lot more than they would have if he's saying
Yeah.
the last team we sold was for 4.
It is one of those
He's
crazy.
going to lose them then. That's where I'm at. I'm not.
Okay, so now
50-50. I think
you're
Portland's gonna
50-50.
lose. I'm not 50-50. I was 50. I think they're going. I think 100% they're leaving. That's now my stance.
Well, I don't think it's 100. I think it's 50-50. And I saw today now the politicians in Portland are sort of like, well, you can't talk to us this way. We're negotiators. This
So-
way. And they're just no.
So does Portland cave? Is that where we're going to get to? Because I think they will. I think Portland will absolutely cave. They'll get the threat realized when it comes back with silence, and they will go because the pressure from the voting public for those elected officials will be, you cannot let the Blazers leave, so we're going to cave. We don't care.
You also have to realize that there are people in that city who would like nothing
More than they see them go.
have bigger issues in the city of Portland right now. They'd like to see maybe some homeless people get housed.
Oh, believe me.
They'd like to see some economic development that brings business.
I worked up there
If
for
they've
7 years.
got,
Yeah.
You know, they're asking to put 300 some odd million into it. I promise you, I don't think it would be. I mean, there's a Blazer fans would be, yes, do this. And I just saw there are Blazer media who are like, hey, call your senator, do this and that. But I can promise you the temperature in Portland right now, there are plenty of people who are like, that is not the number one priority in this world to have a basketball
I do
team.
not disagree
And
with you
that was brought
whatsoever.
back. So it's not going to be the Seattle thing. Those people all just, came down on the council for not doing it up there. Right now, where Portland's at, I bet you that community's, and I've been on for 20 some years, I bet you there's a large contingent of people up there who are like, sports, we're spending money on sports when we got all these other things we got going.
I think that's a great point, Goose. And by the way, you're listening to The Drive here on the new Sports Animal Eugene. You can follow us on the socials, Sports Animal EUG, and on the website, sportsanimal.eug.com. Being up there and having a business in just right off the Ross Island Bridge, we dealt with the homeless situation.
Strip club, because there's a few of those there.
Would you stop?
You're not
No.
wrong.
You saw the office I worked out of. However, okay, we're making light of it, but I 100% agree with you, Goose, on that point of there are plenty of groups and advocates within the community that were like, you know what? We can channel, if we're going to give these tax credits and we're going to give something else to a sports franchise, we can funnel those things to deal with more social issues.
Why did we let that guy leave before this conversation?
I don't know.
Why did we let the Godfather leave? You think that people in this town didn't want to see the M stay, but it was 2/3 vote against them because people said we got all these other priorities, and you had politicians who were not all there. And people, sorry, the Eugene Emeralds have been around Eugene longer than the.
Believe me, it breaks my heart.
We should have kept Dompe here for this discussion because he could
Okay.
tell you that just because you're a proud sports team that has a long legacy in a town does not mean that your current politicians are going to have your back. Because there are many people in the town who are going to be coming and saying, no, those little sports games over there are cute, but we got to get economic development and some homeless housing in this town.
We got some fire going on day 2.
I'm
Yeah,
just
so I don't want you to be sad. Okay, we're
dramatic. You're up, All
All right, let's take.
I'm just depressed.
So we're gonna take a break. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna talk about LeBron. I don't know if that's gonna lift our spirits or not, but you're tuned in to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene and in Newport on Fox Sports Newport. Thanks for tuning in. Back. All right, we have the epic long segment here on the drive, sportsanimal.eug.com. So you have us for the next half hour. We have a couple of topics to go over. And if you've missed any of the program, go back to the podcast. So you got to go to Sports Animal EUG. So we're trying to make it simple. Just go to Sports Animal EUG. That's where our website is, sportsanimal.eug.com. And that's what all our socials are. So don't go to anything else. And you can follow us there. And then once you follow wherever you like, do like Spotify or iHeart or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, if you follow us there and just do Sports Animal EUG and you find us, then like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And then we'll drop something in your email where we put a new episode up just like this. Or you can follow us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is up, Sports Animal EUG as well. And this is the drive. And thanks for tuning in. I'm Doc. Right over there's Baby J and Goose. We'll have a dad joke at the end here. So I got to find a dad joke at the end of it.
I think
So
you're going to be seeing some clips of that last conversation
that was really good,
on
guys.
social media.
Yeah. Well,
That was all Goose.
I think it's going to be, I think we're looking at months and months and months of this similar conversation. I don't think this thing's coming to a reckoning anytime soon. I think both sides are going to continue to try to battle it out in public for the, I should say, the city council is going to battle it out in public because they want to win the battle of public
Right.
perception.
So
Tom
we're
Dundon doesn't care about public perception.
we're in a stare down right now, is what you're saying, right?
I would say so.
Okay, so we were talking about the Blazers possibly relocating if they don't get what they want on the arena, which they don't own, but the renovations that need to be done, and who's going to pay for it, and that's it. And Tom Dundon has already shown. Sorry, I blasted through that. Vegas. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. So Mims rolled his eyes every time we play that sound.
It's good once or twice. It's a little loud in my head like that fifth time.
Okay, it's our shtick. It's our shtick, dude. We got to have a little bit of one. So thanks as you're driving around. I'm playing golf this weekend up at Stone Creek, by the way. So neener on you guys. So
Where did that come from?
What neener?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
I don't even know what to
something.
Google.
So go ahead and Google it up. It's neener.
How do you spell that?
I don't know. Goose, you help me. You're the wordsmith.
No, I never wrote that word.
Okay. We'll have some more news tomorrow on some Oregon movement in terms of players possibly signing in MLB in Oregon State as well. Have no idea who our guests are going to be tomorrow because Baby J and Blaze and Dom haven't put it together for me yet. So I'm calling you out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am. But I have calls out to people. So I'm going to help you out, but we're gonna put another show together for you tomorrow, 3 to 6.
You know who could come on at some point? And I texted with our friend, I forget what his name.
What do you care? You're gonna be gone the
I
next
know,
3
but I
days.
still want the show to be good enough for there
Well,
still to be a show when I
thanks.
come back on Monday. I
You like that?
texted with our friend, I forget his nickname, Tyson Alger. Sorry, I don't know his nickname on the show.
He's the commish.
The commish?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I texted the commish the picture that you sent me of like the promo thing.
And?
He said, I said, in case you're driving through town, you may see this. And he said, hell yeah, ugly group, but you make good radio. So
Let's get
he's
Tyson
aware of what's going on. If you want to get him.
Well, it'd be a shorter conversation with the three of us without you in the room, because all we got to do is just kind of like when I get Coach Ken Woody in here. I've
Yeah.
already told you guys we ask 3 questions. He'll talk for 30 minutes,
Correct.
which
So
is
we should
great.
Get him on the
But say, speaking of Ken Woody,
Speaking of Ken Woody, we're going to have a new show with Ken Woody here on the program in the fall, and we might.
Are we making an announcement? Are we making a big announcement yet, or are we-
I'm not going to tell you everything, but so Coach Woody is going to have a more presence on this radio
That
station
is
coming in the fall.
everything. All he wants is more presence.
The
But
Pope-
I don't mean PS, I mean CE presence.
So he's going to be on Wednesday nights here on Sports Animal EUG.
You gonna sit in the studio?
No, we're going to announce where it is. Okay, go ahead. Don't give everything
Oh, we got
away,
breadcrumbs to go.
dude.
We got breadcrumbs.
You're just talking out of turn here. What? So what do you got
I
there?
got the origin
Okay,
from AI. Just want to put that out there.
okay. So we don't know if it's true.
So we don't know if it's true. It's not that reliable. But
All right.
originating in 19th century American playgrounds, it basically says it's a melody adapted from the old nursery rhymes like Ring Around the Rosie. So
Not that horrible then, but
No.
it has the negative
it
connotation.
does. If you're gonna look to spell it, by the way, do your own research. It's Neener.
Okay. There you go, Goose. You ready for that? All right. So where's LeBron going to go? We talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I've heard more and more, and we talked about it at the top of the show. I am now 98% that he's going to Cleveland because he wants to be the center of attention. I'm going to throw that out first, and then you guys can talk about, people talk about Miami. You talked about Philadelphia. We heard from the mayor, Travis Demers, yesterday. If you missed him on the program, go back to the podcast and listen to his segment. Is he thinks Atlanta is an intriguing spot, and I think that's like a 2%.
That would be Travis Demers showing us his
knowledge
connections in the NBA. If that happens, if he's got it and Shams doesn't have it, then that would be.
So what do you think? Are you still with
I'm
Cleveland?
still in Cleveland, but I'm leaning more towards Miami because I think that Riley and Spoelstra are kind of more respected by him than maybe Atkinson.
So you like the management of Miami, and I think
if Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra get into a guy like also got a pretty decent ego, feels kind of equal with those guys, whereas he might
You think?
in the meeting with Kenny Atkinson and be like,
I'm in.
I'm for you. And I think the same thing in Philly. So I'm starting to think that Riley Spoelstra group's going to get him back down there, and he'll think, hey, we don't have to have 5 good players. We just need 3. I have been on the Cleveland part. I think the Cleveland thing makes sense. And he goes back there,
And that's the last stop.
It makes the
Whatever he's doing.
He might do this again next summer.
Oh,
well,
for
that's what I was
God's
going to
sakes.
say.
But he's going for the league minimums. That's why I think Cleveland's the better place. That's what he said. Yeah, that's what he says.
I think in terms of the actual basketball fit, it makes the least sense to me to go to Miami because they have 2 guys that are going to be on the court with him whenever there's a meaningful moment that are Giannis can't shoot.
There's only one
and
basketball.
Bam, and I think Giannis needs the ball as well. I
Yeah.
question the fit a little bit with Miami. I do think one of the things that does maybe indicate that it could be Miami is because of the front office that you mentioned, along with the fact that it sounds like LeBron isn't going to just do 1 more year. It sounds like this is hey, maybe we're going to do 2 more years.
And then he's done.
But then that allows Miami, who has a couple players, but if you look at the roster, you're going to go, okay, LeBron's on the Miami Heat with Giannis, with Bam Adebayo, and Parks, basically. That's not going to win you a title. Now, give Pat Riley and that front office and LeBron's connections a year. You have another offseason to build it. Maybe you never know. Maybe he could be that 3rd guy if they put some shooters around him. They get the right situation. I could see that a little bit more than I did a couple days ago.
So what's the sell point besides nostalgia for Cleveland? For him, that they've got a good young roster. They got some pieces that they were close.
Yeah, because
And
and
then-
a very good defender, and now you got Allen and Mobley who are good defenders.
But is that
You
the
got-
only thing that
You got Mitchell who can take the pressure
Right.
out LeBron with the
He
ball.
needs to
Okay.
come-
Harden a distributor in recent times. I mean,
Terrible
he
play
may
on
never-
paper.
I know, and maybe LeBron thinks that his wisdom.
his influence?
Exactly. I think it's more around. I think you could look and say that's the same thing with Philly. If you have Embiid, I don't know Embiid gets hurt a lot, but if you had Embiid with him and Jaylen Brown and then Maxey and Edgecombe, I think you can look and say, man, that's a really good starting 5. Whereas maybe you look at Miami, I think that's more of a big 3.
I think my take on this is the same as it was in 2018 when he went to the Lakers. I don't really think there was a great perfect fit, to be honest with you. If there was, we would have been.
But he
like
made
this
it
team.
work.
He made it work
They
in
went
Los
there and told him
Angeles.
to trade all the young players.
It took years. It took like 2-3
He's
years.
not going to have that ability in this next move. He's going to be no, listen, those teams are already put together. He's going to be the last piece, or he's going to be a piece. He's not going to be the piece.
Yeah, he's
right?
still going to want to have some say.
Well, of course he will. But again, I just go back to it. So to me, it's either Cleveland or Miami. I don't think anybody else that anybody throws out
to me.
is conspiracy theories or, trying to, make news for themselves. I don't think those. I think it's one of the other.
Makes sense to me. The Warriors thing does.
Really?
Yeah, it does. And I think Bob Myers is really respected too, and he's kind of running that thing now.
How are you going to sell that to LeBron, though? You tell me. So if you're sitting in a
Hey,
pitch
you
room,
come in here, and by the time we get to the playoffs, you got 2 young guards out here who can shoot. You've got Jaylen Brown, who's on first-team All-NBA, and we've got the best center.
Maybe Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
traded for it. Brown, by the way, came from the Celtics. So
I think that's the roster that I can.
do you buy that, Baby J?
I buy that it's the best roster. 100% agree. It's in terms of the best roster. That being said, it is still LeBron. And will LeBron be willing to be like you said, he's gonna be like a option on that team.
And legacy wise, it would be 4 championships with 4 different teams instead of having to win with Cleveland again. Which if he's looking for things that help him get to that GOAT level, hey, I won championships with 4 different franchises would be.
That's okay. So Steve, you just touched on something I don't think anybody else has been talking about. So good on you. And I think the legacy piece is important to LeBron. But you just brought up something that it would be like, hey, this is the only way I can separate myself from MJ, from Kobe, from anybody else, is I can win a world championship with another team that nobody else has ever done before. And that would cement in his mind that I am the greatest player ever, which is what he wants to be called. He does.
I think
no, but outside.
I think
okay.
my take on the legacy thing with LeBron and Jordan, particularly, I think that it's already been not decided in terms of who is the greatest. I think people have already decided based on the way that their careers have gone. Yes, if LeBron, I don't know, like, does it really move the needle if he's the 3rd or 4th best guy in a championship team when he's 43 years old? I'm not sure. I think that if you're a LeBron guy, then you're a longevity. He did X with these teams. The Warriors were, so good that it prevented him probably from winning a couple championships. Versus Jordan, where he doesn't have as much longevity, but it's a period of 6 and 8 years of dominance that LeBron could not replicate. So in my opinion, I don't know how much public opinion is going to be swayed based on what he does in the last 2-3 years of his career. Now, that being said, we did just see Lionel Messi cement his legacy by taking another team to the World Cup final. So
how could you wind this back to Lionel Messi?
Because I love the guy. But
Our poll question: can LeBron still play in the NBA?
Which is not our poll question.
No, I think our full question would have been, will the Blazers stay in Portland long term?
Yeah. So final answer: Cleveland, yes or no, Baby J?
In Cleveland, it makes
Okay.
the most sense to me.
Stay in Miami.
And I'm on Cleveland. So 2/3 of our brain trust says Cleveland. So whoever
I
and
do think
whenever.
we'll know before the end of the week because I think that.
You think
I
that
think that he. I think
Yeah.
he's letting everything settle? That's true. You can follow us on sportsanimalEUG.com and on all the socials the same way, sportsanimalEUG. So how your podcast where you get music or shows or whatever, go to any of the forums, Spotify, iHeart, Apple. I know we're up there on Apple, Amazon or wherever, Odyssey, and just type in Sports Animal EUG. So you got to change it over from what you used to listen to. And we're going to be right there for you every single day. So our show, even though it's 3 hours in real time, ends up being about a 2-hour consumption. So, and you can start it however you want on all the social media. So tomorrow in the program, it's going to be a potpourri. We have no idea. So Baby J, we're right on time for talking about this, although we have another break we have to get in before the top of the hour. So the NCAA Division II has pushed for, and by the way, this folds into another conversation with the 5-for-5 thing that I want to get into, eligibility-wise for the NCAA, because it gets rid of the red shirt thing that's been happening. With you okay over there?
Yeah.
You want a tissue? Okay. Age-based eligibility starting in 2026-27. But this is coming from a level that's below the top level in the NCAA, which is the NCAA Division II. So, Baby J.
Yes.
So tell me where this came from.
Where did this come from? The situation with the Division II athlete?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like there was a model that was at least approved in some capacity by a Division One last month, and that would replace the current Division II model where they would have 4 seasons to complete within their first 10 semesters or 15 quarters of full-time enrollment. So I don't know much about sort of the history of this, but I do think it is interesting to push for an age eligibility thing because of the NIL stuff, because of the transfer portal. So I don't know what your thoughts on it, Goose.
Well, like you say, I mean, the NCAA Division I did this last month. They said it's fine to play 5 unless you're pregnant, on a mission, or that's one of them. I mean, there's 3 things that can get you an extra year. Otherwise, it is. So I assume.
I didn't realize. Okay, I just chuckled real quick because I didn't realize the pregnancy was one of the exceptions.
Mission and one other one.
So I did. So military service.
Military service,
Yeah.
pregnancy, and
Yeah,
mission.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Now, do you think we're going to start seeing some people that are going to go take some some missions, even if, maybe
I
maybe
think
that's
it
not
would have to
a
be a real.
real
I'm sure
thing.
they're gonna make sure that you're on a real mission.
So it does, I mean, what does this do?
Nothing. It just gets us back to the way sports
Things
used
you
to be.
okay, so the other piece of this then is where I started this whole segment on the 5 for 5, which we would watch during the first part or the middle part of the season. Is like, was Austin Novosad going to get in a game, or are they going to keep him as a red shirt and not burn a year? So what the NCAA is proposing, or maybe this is coming from Congress, I don't know. If you ever want something solved, go to the U.S. Congress, House of Representatives, whatever. Is you get rid of the red shirts at all. You say once you start, eligibility starts, and then you got 5 years. So you can play 5 for 5. So it doesn't matter if you play 6 games, you play 2 games or whatever. The clock starts. I don't mind that. I think that's actually really good. Because now the clock starts. Now they're still not removing the whole medical thing. I don't believe. I haven't read the entire bill because it's 400 pages long. But if they're also not removing the medical hardship, which you can appeal for,
I don't think you're getting any more bonus years. I think it's just
that's just 5 for 5. So what do you think then? So what do you think?
Because you need, I mean, it'll be like
No more Cam McCormick's playing
I was about
9
to say,
years in college football.
It's going to go into there. But I think it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it just you got 5 to play. If you aren't good enough 1 year, or if you're hurt 1 year, you still have other years. But we don't all get to redo a bad year, or something goes wrong. You don't always get a do over.
God, I wish I could redo bad years.
Now, now just thinking about it out loud, does that hurt or help the Ducks, who are going to be
Ducks
this
really-
really, they have so much depth, guys that are willing to take a year
I
off.
don't think it
would have
hurts the
affected the Ducks so much 25 years ago when you were bringing in guys that was like, this guy's definitely in a red shirt type thing.
100% agree.
What do you say if you're young enough or good
Yeah.
enough?
If you're old enough, you're
If you're old enough, you're
if you're good enough, you're old enough.
So I think for them, I mean, like you mentioned, sometimes for maybe the quarterbacks, because you can't play more than one of them. But I don't think at this point he was leaving many people out, because plus you're also recruiting guys at a level to where you don't think they're probably going to stick around 5 years anyway, because most of these guys are 4 and 5 stars who are either going to transfer if they're not playing, or B, probably turn pro after 4 years.
You want that guy in the 4th or the 5th year if you're Oregon or season. So, and I think Oregon's problem more has been for kids that come in here is finding time on the field, competition.
What about Oregon State then?
I think it might help somebody like Oregon State. Well, because you can again go after somebody that's seasoned. If they get to a certain level, they play 3 years somewhere else. You can have them for 2 more years. You can go out and get them hard, meaning go out and throw. If they get some money, I mean, they got to pay for the rest of the Valley Center. Whatever they're doing there to raise money, and Kevin Griffin's going to try and do that in Corvallis.
Yeah.
But I think it levels the field a little bit more for everybody, especially for those schools.
Let's go. Here's an interesting one for you.
Okay.
And I could be wrong on this year. You guys know it better than me. But speaking with Kelly Graves yesterday, Katie Fiso now has an extra year, right? I mean,
Yes,
played
she
last
does.
year as a true
If
freshman.
this comes through,
So it's been
Okay.
passed. So
All
now
right.
she's got 3 years left with Oregon instead of 2, because otherwise she would have had 2 to play because she played as the true freshman last year.
correct.
So you're seeing that they're going to be some of, take the softball, Stephanie Maki and Riley McCoy. Now they've got 3 more years instead of 2. So that's where the biggest changes are going to come.
I didn't even think
Is in
about
the
it that
smaller
way.
sports there where they're not turning pro right away, where they can get NIL.
And they want to play those years.
and they want to play those years because there's not necessarily a pro league to go to. So you're going to see a lot more of that to be where I think it's a bigger impact.
Well, you can help your status if you can- if you play.
Because they can make more in NIL than they can in turning pro.
That's right. It's like we started this whole thing with baseball, talking about getting $350,000 or staying in college and getting $500,000.
Does it help out?
Sports to where people who because what they're not letting you do is if you played last year as your 4th year, they're not letting you play this year as your 5th year, which is already cost lawsuits, of course. Right?
What does that mean exactly?
It means if you were a true senior, if you played 4 years in last year, but even though this thing goes into force next year,
Okay.
there are seniors saying, "Hey, I want that 5th year next
They're
year."
not getting grandfathered.
They're not granting it for that group. But if you were anybody who's going to be playing in college this year does get that thing brought in.
Okay.
So if that's where the thing is right now, is you're getting all these lawyers again are suing for And it would be a Jack, Nate Biddle type thing or something, somebody who had 4 and then had to go, let me get 5. That's where you're going to see the initial is in the sports to where these players are not necessarily turning pro right after, who's the Oregon, Kiana Romero, the great golfer. She made
Kiara Romero, but she's turning pro.
Yeah, but she now, in theory, would have 3
Wouldn't
more
have
years. Where when you
Sounds
recruited
good.
her, you thought that she would be done after next year. Now she technically has extra years.
So how does that change rosters though as well? Because now I thought I was losing a person, and now they are actually still eligible. They want to come back. The transitory nature of the roster.
Like that you're.
No, I'm not just talking about Derek Radley though. Any roster,
Yeah,
go to basketball.
Over and over.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
I think that's a huge issue.
I just think about like the Beavers football team. Does this not help them out in some capacity of like, if you have a place that you can play, then if you're going to be using eligibility, if you don't play, you're going to want to go play somewhere?
Well, that's what I'm talking about is somebody that kind of where in Oregon's model, which was there was a lot of second string guys at a big program.
Right.
So,
all the
so,
guys that just
so that's what I'm
transfer out.
saying. So like the second string guys from Georgia or Arkansas, they were going to have their last year of eligibility and somebody's above them on the roster and they know they're not going to, and they know that I don't have another chance. That is where I think it can benefit somebody like an Oregon State, where it's like, you know what, you come here and you can start.
Yeah.
You can start for me.
Yeah.
And that's where, we had this conversation about, and we will continue. In fact, we can fold this in for the last couple of minutes, is how the Pac-12 can become relevant and how quickly can they become relevant and who are they going to lean into? You okay over it?
No.
That's fine. I heard the ice rattling and everybody else did it. Okay. I know it is. We'll have the other stuff later.
He's the new Iceman.
So, no, he's Goose. He's always going to be Goose. Is how those guys can come to a program like an Oregon State. I mean, or let's put it at that level, a Boise State, a San Diego State, wherever it is, and get an opportunity to play where they wouldn't have had that opportunity because they were stuck in the depth chart somewhere else. I mean, Oregon, how many second level players did Oregon lose? And everybody,
all their backups on defense.
Right. And everybody was like throwing their hands up because Tosh Lupoy left. They were like, well, they didn't all go to Tosh Lupoy at Cal.
No, a lot of them went to the SEC.
And they're not guaranteed a starting position over there, but they might have a better chance because they see who's above them at practice every week. And it's like, I'm not going to see the field, dude.
I think Oregon's such a unique situation though, too, because you think about
But it relates to that. Though.
I totally get what you're saying, but I think that you're totally right. But I don't think every team is going to have a situation where they have 4 defensive line starters that are juniors coming back as seniors coming back. Like that's just not a reality for the most part.
I do like knowing what the timeline is. I do like knowing that, you start and now there's the finish line.
Yeah.
Instead of just keep extending. Again, I'll just.
And Oregon got benefited by that with
they certainly did.
The whole Diego Pavia situation. So Cam McCormick, we brought it up.
Oh, Cam's like the he is like the wildly far side of the spectrum when it comes to how many years of eligibility. Does he have the record?
My age. He's close to it. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
That was the record for 9 years that he was playing collegiate football.
It
was one game at a time, but okay.
As an example too, it was all like legitimate in terms of like it seemed like he would have legitimate injuries, but it's at some point it does become this thing where it's like, when is the stopping point?
It became comical at the end.
It became like this, almost like a side conversation, like not a joke, but you know what I'm saying? It became something almost to laugh at. Like, wow, Cam McCormick getting another year. I can't believe it.
Because it was an NIL company. Given an NIL, he was not going to be an NFL prospect.
And he was making $150,000 a year. Yeah.
To sit on the bench.
See how it's interesting how it just circles all the way back to NIL.
It always does.
And the cash. I mean, how much would you be worth on NIL right now, dude? You're doing a C note for a show.
That's true. I'm doing. Actually, I got.
You're not.
Check for jury duty.
You said okay. You showed me that today. Yeah. So how long were you at jury duty?
6 hours.
And you got $11 and parking.
Not great.
Yeah.
That included the parking, right?
Parking gets validated. It was $1.78.
Okay. So did you actually sit on the jury?
No,
if you can say
to be interviewed. I've always every other time
you went to voir dire?
Jury box. being questioned.
And how'd that go for you? How'd that go for
I
you?
couldn't have been more excited to get on this jury. I thought it didn't happen. I've always wanted to go
And you
on the jury.
And you didn't get it?
Murder trial, and I was up there, and I was like, yeah, they're going to pick me for sure. And then they, the ballot comes through, and they send it over, and I'm looking, and the judge, I see him look, and he stares me in the eye, and I went, oh bleep, and he said, jury.
You were really hoping you
I was trying to
Did
answer
you
the last
get-
40. I did. I really wanted the jury. I've always wanted. I don't understand people who don't want to be on a jury. That's
I think that's the
fascinating.
first person I've ever heard that you were dying to be on a jury.
Listen, inquisitive mind, and he loves solving things up. Did you mean mug him a little bit?
I was mad when I got kicked out. I didn't look at anybody on my way out, but for my 6 hours, I got paid $11.70.
You're making more here.
I
Just
just
out there.
It's been more exciting than the time sitting there. But yeah, no, I was all in and ready to go, and I wish I'd get called and get sat on a jury. I think
Wow.
it'd be fascinating.
So I've been called to jury duty twice. Made it to the
Really?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, I've avoided it for some reason. So now it's coming up again. Now that I'm saying something, I'm sure
Yeah, we're
there's
just-
somebody down the clerk's
What's the
office that's going to typing my name into the system.
Because once you,
Oh, yeah, no, you couldn't do that in that. So do you think somebody knew you? I'm just going
I
to say,
don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I think so.
no,
So
we
it
got
was a-
nine. We got what, like
It was a-
7
It was
minutes.
still defense case.
Okay.
And so with all the questions.
This is
from the defense
fascinating, by the
attorney,
way.
so
Okay.
The accused, admittedly, there was a.
Be careful here.
A scrumble, or what do you call it?
A scrum.
A gun was grabbed and a person was shot.
Okay.
And it was in self-defense with the claim.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna give out too much personal.
No,
information
don't,
myself for a
don't,
minute,
don't.
But
Okay.
the DA, or excuse me, the prosecuting attorney was
Yeah.
asking, do you want a gun, to the people who were on? That was one of the questions he
Do you-
was asked.
I'm
And
not
I
going
said-
to make.
And I
you
said,
ask
I
that
don't
question.
know. So I said no, and I think he got rid of me because he wanted 12 gun owners up there because he wanted.
And you were a white
self-defense.
older male, so if you would have
No,
owned, no, if you would have owned a gun, you probably would have been.
You were in.
Well, there
You
was
were
one
in.
guy up there who he was like, and
I
he
love
was
this.
like-
It's the best ever.
and the guy said, do you own a gun? And he said, heck yeah. And
Wow! And did he made it?
I don't know. I didn't get to see it because I got kicked out before. But anyway, it was fascinating. And I think I got left out because I wasn't a gun. And now people are going to come in my house because they know. Maybe
No, he actually does, but he doesn't show where it is. That's it.
yeah,
So
I was-
don't
I was-
come in.
where I was under oath. I thought I was in there like a week to stick around there, and like 3 minutes later.
So what did Kim think, though?
Oh, I didn't. She was on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Again,
But you've never been a part of a jury.
I know. This is the closest I got. The first
So-
time I ever got up in the room in the box.
I never made it that far.
Yeah.
I never got to the point where voir dire was part of what I had. I was in a room and
I
they
know.
turned the number. And
Well,
Well, both times that I had it going on, the trial never even happened. So then they release you and then you're done for a few years.
part of my story.
Okay.
So this is on a Wednesdays, 2 Wednesdays ago, 2
Okay.
Wednesdays tomorrow.
Yeah.
That I go in there, and so I'm all disappointed I get out right, and I
Right.
see a reporter from Lookout and from the Register Guard there. So
Okay,
I'm gonna
you know.
follow this tri- No, I don't know them, but I'm going
Okay.
to follow this trial.
Okay.
And on Friday, the story comes out that a mistrial was declared because there was evidence that came in too late. So my whole, I want to be on this for a week, and I was disappointed, would have been disappointed a day later anyway.
What a great story. See, even though we started talking about cats and stuff like that, you ended up with your story today on the program. See, that had nothing to do with sports.
No.
You were okay with that.
I got paid.
Again. All right. So follow us on sportsanimalEUG.com. Follow us on all the socials, Sports Animal EUG. If you missed any of the program today, you want to go back and listen because we started out with Max Torres. What a great piece of information he gave us on Oregon football and what we can look forward to, what they already have, and how Dan Lanning kind of fashions his team in terms of how he goes after players. And then we had Matt Dumpy, the godfather from the Eugene Emeralds in, and they're down the home stretch. So the last month of the regular season, they're already in the postseason. So they will be diving in to their next stage, which is going to be against whomever they play in the Northwest League Championship. So we'll end everything with the dad joke. So I did the ignorance thing yesterday. So all right. What did the monster say when he saw a rush hour full of passengers? What did the monster say when he saw a rush hour full of passengers? So it's a train. Sorry, I should say that. What did the monster say when he saw a rush hour train full of passengers?
Choo choo.
You suck.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's a dumb one. Really.
I see a choo-choo train.
Wow.
All right, tomorrow the program will be back 3 to 6 for Baby J.
We should
For
start keeping score on that. See
all right,
how many of those that we get. I'm
you're 1 for 2 right
The best
now.
one.
I'm Doc. God bless me. We'll put a smile on your face. Someone else says they deserve it. So do you. For Blaze, for Dom. Peace.